Yes. Why doesn't it work for? Is it saying that a number's dialed in already? Yeah, that's because we're probably still dialed in from earlier in the week. So if you look on phone box, it's probably connected already somewhere.
Just a thank you to Sean and all his ground staff
Cheers.
for their preparation of the field of play today. They were on the site at 7 o'clock this morning to try and mop up the rain that had fallen overnight. So thanks to their efforts, we're going to get underway at 3 o'clock. Gloucestershire Cricket would also like to thank their corporate sponsors who have backed the club during this 2019 season, which of course concludes with this fixture. Both Bristol Energy and Amber Energy, Blue Poppy,
that's unusual.
Bristol Fire, Whitechurch Securities Limited, kit sponsors Samurai.
No, let me phone. I'll phone Salford and ring you back in a sec.
TM Sporting Pay and Safra. I did mention earlier about Ian Cobain's testimonial dinner, which closes his testimonial year on the 16th of November at the Bristol Marriott. You can get details of that from Ian's website, iancobaintestimonial.com. Ian's also the first speaker of the winter season at the Gloucestershire Cricket Lovers Society. That will be on the 14th of October. The Society meets on the second Monday of each month, starting in October through until April. Membership is £20 for those 7 meetings, and application forms can be obtained from the Gloucestershire Club Office or indeed from the Bristol Pavilion reception. You can also get one by emailing the Programme Secretary David Oates at dj.oates@virgin.net. But here's Ian Cobain, the first speaker of the season on Monday, the 14th of October, and that's the Gloucestershire Cricket Lovers Society who meet here at the Bristol County Ground in the close season. Something else perhaps you to look at during the close season is walking cricket, which is being introduced here at the Bristol County Ground. The sessions will be in the Bristol Cricket Centre on Wednesday lunchtimes from 1 o'clock. They're open to anybody who is 50 or over. They're completely free. Played with a soft ball. It's designed to appeal to older players. You can get further details on that from club reception or indeed from the club shop. So walking cricket being introduced from Wednesday the 25th of September, which of course is today, so actually that's from next week, here at the Bristol Cricket Centre on future Wednesdays, starting at 1 o'clock.
Hi, Rich.
You there, John? Yes, Radio Bristol should have.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, John. Bristol have told us it is dialed down, so have another go. Wonderful, thank you very much indeed. Speak at 3 for 3 o'clock. Yes, please. Thanks.
Well, this extended single session of play today, please welcome our umpires for this match, David Mills and Michael Burns.
Well, good afternoon, and would you believe it? Got cricket here at the county ground. We haven't had any for over 24 hours. At 3 o'clock, was it 2 o'clock, the umpires came out and did a lengthy inspection, and they decided that there will be 48 over 3 o'clock, and Gloucestershire in a heap of trouble at 80 for 6. Charlesworth on 35, Van Buren is on 5. 48 overs are going to be bowled today. Those 48 overs are going to be bowled.
You wouldn't have thought so, Bob Hunt, no, because the sky's quite dark, but it's been a most frustrating sort of 48 hours, really, hasn't it? Both days have been not bad at all. There's a bit of rain around yesterday morning, wasn't there? But apart from that, we haven't seen a drop of rain for 2 days.
No.
We've only had 29.2 overs in this match so far, so it has been a very trying time here at Bristol while they try and sort out a couple of areas around. Patches to our left, they've put some sawdust down there and decided that that's safe enough to play, and we're going to get back underway at long last.
We are, and the situation at Durham is good news. They've abandoned play for the day up there. Unless Durham, well, there's not going to be a result there. They've got to get bowl Durham out to that part, but I mean, unless a big fat envelope of money is partaken. Anyway, it's going to be Van Buren facing Sanderson, the first ball after 2 days, and it's defended out on the offside. The light, I've got to say, I think there's a big dark cloud over to our left, and that might well hinder play a bit, but it's just about playable at the moment. So Gloucestershire in a heap of trouble, 80 for 6. Charlesworth batted really well on 35, and Van Buren has joined him on 5. And the next batsman to come will be David Payne, Josh Shaw and Shannon Gabriel. And that's left by Van Buren outside the off stump. And it goes through to Rossington, who's the keeper and the captain of Northamptonshire. Now, the umpire's doing something to the stumps. He hasn't got his light meter. Oh, no, I thought it was light. No, he had his light meter out then. He did. He had a look at the light meter. It's okay. I mean, it's not... The light is just about passable, you would expect. 3 slips crouched down as Sanderson bowls and Van Buren defends. Now, 80 for 6 isn't a great score, but Ben Charles said, well, actually, it wasn't too bad out there. He batted very well, and especially well for he's only 18. Knows no fear at all. So what does Gloucestershire have to do? Well, ideally, they have to stay there, not 48 overs, which is a tall order, as Sanderson comes in again and bowls to Van Buren, and Van Buren cuts, and the first runs of the day, it's going to be 2. It hit a pigeon, actually, and it's going to go with the boundary for 4. Yes, it does. It's a good shot from Van Buren, off his back foot, through the covers, via a pigeon, and 4 runs to his total. That's only 4 balls of the over left remaining, and now it's 48 overs, and you're on the news now.
I am indeed, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, these skies are continuing to darken, aren't they? Away to our left, looking very... Just about okay for the moment. So 84 for 6. With play abandoned for the day at Durham.
Good news.
Certainly for Gloucestershire. Northants, you wouldn't have thought would be in any way bothered about getting neither, just 4 coming into the game to confirm their promotion. Gloucestershire needing 9, and that's both if Glamorgan picked up 24 points at Durham, which now isn't going to happen unless something truly remarkable happens.
Or illegal.
So Brett Hutton is going to open up from the Ashley Down Road end. To the left-handed Charlesworth, who plays very nicely on day 1. In comes Hutton, right arm round, and Charlesworth lets a length ball go outside the off stump, but it bounces through to Rossington around sort of diaphragm height there.
Yeah.
So a couple of slips in place. Third man deep point, long leg and deep square are all out here. Then extra cover mid on and mid off. A little negative, I think, here. Who's getting himself going again, but he did look in good touch on the first day. Played very smartly. Hutton is into him once again, full of length, and Charlesworth slightly on the walk here is pushing forward and playing down out towards mid-on. And there is no run as we welcome listeners on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra. Hello from Bristol, where it's gloomy but enough. You're with myself, Alex Winder, and Bob Hunt here.
Yeah, well, very good afternoon to listeners on 5 Live Sports Extra. And Gloucestershire 84 for 6 in their first innings.
And Hutton from the far end comes in past the umpire, and Charlesworth pushing forward, the left-hander, runs one through gully. Across to our left-hand side, Rob Keogh going away from second slip to collect down there. And they get a single, so Charlesworth is underway on 36, 85 for 6. Northants ran through a series of cheap wickets on day one with the new ball. A couple of run-outs there as well, not helping Gloucestershire's cause, but taking early control of this match before the rain arrived. Northants needing a maximum of 4 points to ensure their promotion. Gloucestershire needing 9. Hutton over the wicket to Van Buren here, the right-hander, who's pushing away to Levy. At short mid-wicket, just steps away to his right-hand side to collect in there. And there is no run. FM update now for Radio Northampton listeners.
Oh, shut up.
So bear with. Yes, there is indeed. We're back underway. It's been a day and a half since well, more than that actually, 2 full days since we last saw cricket on the first morning, but we are back underway. Very gloomy here at Bristol, rain threatening once again, but dry enough to get this match back underway. Only 29.2 overs on that first morning. Northants needing 4 points here at Gloucestershire to confirm their promotion. They've got 2 of them already with the home side 86 for 6. So if Northants can bowl Gloucestershire out here, that'll be a 3rd point, and then a score of 200 in their first innings. If there is time, would give them the 4 points they need, but that's all assuming that Glamorgan pick up 24 points up at Durham, and that's very, very unlikely. That match, and Glamorgan yet to get out in their first innings and play abandoned for the day there too. So all signs pointing to both these sides being promoted tomorrow afternoon.
We hope so. Hope so. I mean, that's the end of the over. That's now 47 overs to go. We've had tea, so it's going to be a long session here at Bristol. We had tea at 20 to 3, which is an unusual time to have tea. But the grey clouds away over the Memorial Stadium, where Bristol Rovers play their footy, seems to be coming this way. The umpires have had a quick check at the light, but at the moment the light has improved immeasurably as it's Ben Sarnison coming in to bowl to the right-handed Graham Van Buren, who's on 10. They've added 6 runs in an over and a half as Sarnison comes in to bowl to Van Buren. 3 slips crouched down, and always beaten by that one, and he played the shot and it went through to the keeper. Good ball. They're employing 3 slips for Van Buren. A very negative field. There's a short extra cover. There's a backward point just at point position, mid-wicket, long leg and a 3rd man. So if you can beat that through the covers, you've got easy runs. As Sarnison bowls to Van Buren, he's done that already. A short extra cover and there's no run. So the situation is, Gloucestershire didn't bat particularly well on that first. Unlucky run-outs. Dent was run out, and there's a freak run-out when Hankins was run out backing up. But only Charles are in double figures. End as Sarnison bowls to Van Buren, and Van Buren covers up nicely, and mid-on runs into field, and there's not another run to be had. I don't think we're going to get through 47 overs. And B, because I think it's going to rain again.
Possibly so.
Yes. Well, the forecast
there is a bit in the air, isn't there?
Well, the forecast for tomorrow is not good at all, in fact. So it's pretty horrendous. So, in many ways, this game could be turned. Some bowls again, and Van Buren on his back foot plays it into the cover region, and there's no run. So we could be dancing in the streets tomorrow night. We could be Northampton and Gloucestershire both being promoted to Division 1.
Could be partying in Nailsworth and Kettering, and
yeah, we could be. Yeah, Morton and Marsh. Yeah, Forest of Dean even, and yet in Bristol, which isn't really in Gloucestershire. However, we gloss over that as Sarnison comes in and bowls to Van Buren, defends, backward point picks it up.
I think they party all the time in the Forest of Dean.
They do party in the Forest of Dean. Yeah, very much so. Yeah, and there's wild boar in the Forest of Dean, of course. There's pigs roaming all over the place. Roaming all over the place they are.
You have mining rights, don't they?
Some they do. You can, yeah. If you have a license. I've been down one of those mining, those open cast mines. Not very pleasant, actually. Not very pleasant at all. It's dark. 3 slips very close together. Crouch to Van Buren, and Van Buren is beaten again outside the off stump. Ends the over. Good ball. 86 for 6. Van Buren on 10. Charlesworth got 1 to his total 36. 47 overs remaining of the day.
Ever been to Little Dean Jail?
Yes. It's not very nice there either. That's where you were strung up.
Correct.
Yeah, lots of hangings.
Nasty things happen at Little Dean Jail in the
they still do
in the forest. You could well be right.
No, the forest is a lovely place actually. Contrast to the Cotswolds on the other side, but however, it's going to be Hutton coming in from the Ashley Down Road end.
86 for 6, and Hutton is right arm round to Charlesworth with 2 slips, and he's defending from the crease down towards mid-off, and there is no run. I suppose it's been that long since we've had play here. We should probably remind you of the 2 teams. So Gloucestershire, James Bracey and Chris Dent, the captain. Miles Hammond and Gareth Roderick keeps wicket. Graham Van Buren, Ryan Higgins, George Hankins, Ben Charlesworth here, Josh Shaw, David Payne, and the West Indian Shannon Gabriel, who was flown over for these last 3 matches for the Gloucesters. Hutton in again, and Charlesworth driving pleasantly straight out to Sanderson at mid-off, and there is no run. And Northants have handed a debut here to Emilio Gay, who is the 525th first-class player for Northants. He's set to open the batting with Ben Curran, and Northants have Alex Wakely, Rob Keir, Richard Levy, Adam Rossington, the keeper and wicket-keeper, captain and wicket-keeper, sorry, Luke Proctor, Gareth Burke, Doug Bracewell, Brett Hutton here. And in once more, just outside the off-stump, and Charlesworth leans forward, shoulders arms, and it passes through behind the stumps.
Can I just correct you on one mistake you made? It isn't Gareth Roderick keeping wicket.
I'm only reading off my screen.
It's James Bracey keeping wicket.
Yeah, we haven't seen him keep wicket yet.
Well, no, he is keeping wicket. I can tell you that because Gareth Roderick has poorly fingers, but he's going to field. James Bracey is a perfectly competent keeper, and he will don the gloves.
Hutton once more in his slip over, comes in, bowls wide of the off stump, and gets cut away out to gaze on the point fence to our left hand side across those sort of damp patches over there, and you can see Emilio Gay looking at the ground as he went down to field that to his right hand side of his feet as he collected that.
Well, I went out there at lunchtime and had a look, and it is very sticky, very sticky. The pitch is absolutely fine, the wicket is fine, but it's the outfield, all those used pitches.
87 for 6, Charlesworth is 37, Van Buren is 10 and back on strike here. Hutton's over the wicket and he's pushed away through mid-wicket. Pleasant stroke across the square, the ball bobbling away there across the damp patches. He has to run around to his left to collect this towards the covers. And they get a couple of runs, so Van Buren goes to 12. 89 for 6 here. So if Gloucestershire, so long as Gloucestershire get to 200, then the match situation is in their own hands.
It is. They've got 111 runs to
go. A partnership is perfectly possible.
It is, yes, yeah.
Some batting to come still as Hutton is into the wicket again, bowling full, and Van Buren half forward, playing back up towards the bowler's right boot, and there's no run to end the over. 89 for 6 Gloucestershire, who on the first day lost Hammond for 1, Bracey for 8, Roderick for 2, Dent for 15, Hankins for 4 and Higgins for 1. They were in a right bother at 67 for 6. Not too much better off here at 89 for 6. And as I say, in need of a partnership, just trying to ease their way out towards 200, because a batting bonus point plus 3 bowling points plus the draw, and regardless of what happens at Glamorgan, 9 points good enough for the Gloucesters.
Yeah, well, 6 in theory. In many ways, they're not going to get 400 runs in.
Well, it's still possible, Bob.
Well, it may be
still possible.
Well,
could be some throw-ups tomorrow. Who knows?
No, I don't think the ECB would like that at all, at all. So Charles was going to face Sanderson for the first time in this afternoon session, and here he comes to bowl. Right arm over, left-handed Charlesworth defends solidly, and Sanderson picks it up of his own bowling. Now, you're right, I mean 89 for 6, but it seems to have, I mean, as always, there was no play yesterday at all here at Bristol. They called it off about 3:30, much to everyone's annoyance, and it started at 3 o'clock today. It seems to have flattened out a bit.
Well, it was always a pretty docile wicket on that first morning, really. There's not a blade of grass on this pitch. It was all shaved off.
Yeah, that's true. Sanderson bowls to Charlesworth and he defends into the covers and there's no run. However, my point is that it seems to be easier to bat for these two. However, you talk about batting to come. Well, it's Payne. He's a decent number 9. Shannon Gabriel. Now, Shannon Gabriel hasn't really shone too much with the bat in his time with Gloucestershire. He didn't get a wicket against Sussex. He got 2, I think, against Worcestershire last week, which I wasn't at. As the parents come to pick up their children from the primary school all the way to our left, as Sanderson bowls and that's defended, and in fact he gets a bit of a cheeky single as Charlesworth down to third man. The ball comes in. You see, there's a little path there in the car park, and that is where the parents go and pick up their children from the primary school, you see. And they have to walk back through that path again. Otherwise they're shot. Snipers. No, it's true. The old kids will come out and they love it, actually.
Do they not use the car park behind the flats?
Well, it's got to go a long way around them, isn't they? It's not fair. As Sanderson bowls again. Down the leg side. Well, that's a bad ball and well hit by... No leg byes, that doesn't matter. It's extra runs to the total, 94 for 6. 13 extras on the board. Now, if you go from there, you've got to walk all the way around the ground. So that's the little path there, and it's designated, and you don't have to pay to get in or anything.
It's a bit of exercise.
Exercise, yeah. The kids love it. They run out in a minute. You'll see them exploding through the car park.
They still come on the outfield here?
What?
The kids?
They're not on the outfield, not the game's on.
Obviously not when the game's on.
No, they're not on the
certain
outfield.
other times when there is no cricket being
I bet
played.
they can in the winter, possibly. Sanderson bowls again, defended by Van Buren into the covers, and there's no run.
I'm sure I've seen that before, actually, during a lunch break.
Oh, well, if they had the kids in, early on in the season, they get the kids in, 100 primary school kids, and after about 10 minutes they get a bit bored, actually. They've eaten their packed lunches.
Get the sandwiches out, yeah.
Well, I've never known a school trip where anyone's had their lunch at lunchtime. They always have it on the coach on the way in, don't they? So they can't resist it. Slips crouched down as Sanderson comes in again and bowl. Oh, actually, towards Rossington. What are you talking about?
I remember going on a school trip down to Somerset once, and I think it was sort of like a mock Victorian, some kind of workshop village thing or whatever, and they had this tremendous bakery.
Yeah.
The bakery was fantastic. Yeah. So I bought this loaf of bread. It was probably only a split tin loaf, so not a great deal of bread, but still a significant amount. And by the time we got home on the coach, I'd finished it.
Nothing on it, no butter, no, just bread.
Straight bread. It was beautiful, absolutely
excellent.
Beautiful.
Well, thanks for that.
94 for 6, and Hutton is coming into Charlesworth once again from the far end of the ground. Goes past the umpire, ball short, and Charlesworth is pulling off a bit of a bottom edge, no real timing. And the ball running away out to on the City of Bristol College side of the ground, away to our right as they take that single. He swapped places with Proctor, who's now dodging the damp patches to our left. 95 for 6, and Charlesworth is 39.
I don't think Charlesworth went through the shot, actually. It was sort of half-hearted little prod to a short delivery.
Hunt to Van Buren, 2 slips in place, and the right-hander is back and playing off a thickish inside edge away to Levy at mid-wicket, and there is no run. Philip Gammage has been in touch on Twitter at _Alex Winther to say, nice to see Northampton playing cricket. Indeed it is, after the couple of days that we've had. 2 points more for promotion would be very nice, says Phil. Hope all is well.
Those in the bag, I would have thought.
You would think so. Hope all is well in Wolverton. Hutton once more. Jet black hair, past the umpire he goes. Van Buren pushing at one and plays and misses.
He did.
Just forced at one. And he rehearses a leave as he walks away out to square leg, as he knows there's a bit of a job to do here for the Gloucesters, just to ease their position. They could, in theory, still lose this match, even though Northants would have no real appetite for bowling, with a draw more than good enough for them. As Hutton moves up again from the far end and bowls a bit fuller, a bit tougher to the off stump, and Van Buren is just across in defence this time, playing down towards Gareth Berg, out at mid-off for no run. And Steve also on Twitter says, surely now with the today, both teams will be promoted. You would have thought, Steve.
Well, I can't see... to Gloucester to lose this game, it will need some...
Correct. Very, very true.
Yes.
But it is still possible.
It is possible. Anything's possible in a game of cricket, of course it is.
95 for 6, and Van Buren forcing off the back foot. A good save from Gay at backward point. Full length dive to his right hand side in there, the debutant. Saves 4 runs because it was quite well timed by Van Buren. Ball runs away just to the left of Berg at mid-off, and they do go through for a single. So Van Buren, a little right-hander, goes to 13, and the Gloucesters to 96 for 6.
If they get past 100, they've done well, Gloucestershire, I think. Only 4 more. Again, 150 would be a decent total after their start.
Hutton into Charlesworth again, left-hander, forward, big gap at point, but it's too close to Levy, an extra cover coming to his right-hand side, and there is no run to end the over. Lots of cricket to try and get in today. Another 43 overs are scheduled. 96 for 6 here. Elsewhere around the country, a lot of rain as you would imagine. No play Wednesday at Kent. Kent 147, Hampshire 80 for 3 in reply there at Kent. No inspect at 320 down at Taunton, the big title decider between Somerset and Essex. Somerset 2-0 without loss in reply there, and they've got to lose 20 wickets in at best 4 sessions now. So the title all but theirs, you would think.
Which is Somerset's fault, but that was the result against Hampshire. Here's Sarnison bowls to Van Buren, and Van Buren defends to mid-wicket who fields.
No play today at Edgbaston. Yorkshire 2-6-1 for 2 on day 1 there against Warwickshire. As we've been saying, no play today at Chesley Street. 2-6-2 for 8 Durham, so still in the first innings of that match against Glamorgan. Glamorgan needing to win with as many points as possible to have any chance of overhauling either Gloucestershire or Northants. There is a bit of cricket going on in a couple of other places though, but there is no play. 2-9-9 for 8 against Worcestershire.
Here is Sarnison, bowls the right-handed Van Buren, and Van Buren defends solidly up to mid-off. He throws it back to the keeper with venom.
Where there is live action is at Lords,
yes,
where Derbyshire 103 for 3 replied to Middlesex 260, so nicely poised that game. Also playing at the Oval, where Surrey 3-5-4 for 6 against Notts.
Relegated Notts.
Correct. Winless Notts.
You can see the children coming out of the primary school now. Look at them all running homewards with their homework in their hand as Sarnison bowls to Van Buren, who's beaten again outside the off stump, and Rossington collects.
And they're also playing at Grace Road, where Leicestershire are actually getting themselves on top here. Only put up 155. But Lancashire replying 78 for 6 now. Ben, Mike and Dieter Klein have shared 5 wickets there for Leicestershire, who are trying to avoid the wooden spoon and need a win.
Now, as Sarnison, the light is improved somewhat as Sarnison bowls to Van Buren, and Van Buren drives. It's a lovely shot. It's going to. The ball might hold up. No, it just trickles over the rope. 4 runs through extra cover. And that is a good effort by these two. They came 7, so they put on 33. And look, the trouble is, you see, when all these kids come out of the primary school, some of them like to watch the cricket. See, they will stop to watch the cricket. Don't like that, but why not?
What's wrong with that?
Well, I think it's great. It's great, but they don't. Look, there's the dad's taking his son to watch down. I think it's great.
Tremendous.
Free, of course, free admission. As Sarnison bowls to Van Buren again, lovely 15, and this time he defends. Oh, goes for a short sharp single, which is well backed up by Charlesworth. 101 for 6. He's on 18. Charlesworth on 39. No, they're all. Some of them are looking some cricket. Look, there's 2 little boys there. Just.
They should get him an ice cream. Give him a bat and ball. Let him go down just the other side of the advert. Have a bit of a thrash around, watch a bit of cricket.
There is no grass there actually, but that's where there used to be grass, of course.
There's grass there?
There was a tiny bit of grass behind the other, about 6 foot's worth.
So there's grass there?
All right, there's grass there, yes. Actually, they could go on the pitch. Look,
they could actually,
short,
yeah.
Yes.
They could. It'd probably be frowned upon, but they could.
Sanderson bowls to Charlesworth, and Charles lets it go outside the off stump to end the over. 101 for 6. That's 42 overs remaining. Van Buren on 18 and Charlesworth on 39.
Bob Hunt alongside myself, Alex Winter here at Bristol, where it's gloomy to the north west of us. Clouds very dark indeed. That's all going away from us.
It is, luckily.
What we can see has left us over the other side of the ground. Dark and nasty, doesn't it, in the distance? So thankfully that has gone away from us, and hopefully the weather that's approaching from behind us, behind the pavilion.
The sun's lovely now.
It is, yeah. Yeah, back in the day, the old commentary box on the other side of the ground, the old Jessup stand over there. You could see what was coming your way.
You could,
which was nice.
But unfortunately, the sun was in your eyes for much of the day.
Also correct, yeah. I remember getting a black sheet of paper and posting it up on those plastic windows used to be on there, didn't they?
Change of bowling, I think, from the Ashley Down Road.
Yeah, it's going to be Gareth Berg, who on the first day sent down 5 overs, 2 mains, 1 for 18, and now comes into Van Buren at 101 for 6, and it's short and wide and cut but mistimed. Bottom edge just runs away down to backward point, where Proctor is stationed again now. Him and Gay have swapped, and there is no run. Gay's away to our left in his pristine white long-sleeved Northamptonshire. No name and number just yet. Signed his first professional contract earlier in the summer. Did the Bedford schoolboy. Keen to make his debut innings later today as Berg is in and Van Buren back and across. Defending back up towards the bowler's left hand for no run.
Our third voice has joined us.
Hello, is he? Isabel Duncan will be with us shortly.
She will be. Yeah. Well, that's what you were doing, but I'm sure you had a lot of fun doing it.
Berg once more, past the umpire he goes, and Van Buren a little slow to come forward here, almost got caught in the crease. In the end is able to defend back up towards the bowler's right hand. And there is no run, 101 for 6 here. Yeah, those school children still there, aren't they? A couple of young boys.
Yeah, keen as mustard.
Polo shirts down there to our left, clutching their rucksacks.
I think the dad's more interested in the cricket than the boys, actually.
Berg once more, right arm over the wicket, full and wide of the off stump, and Van Buren leans forward and allows it to pass through. It doesn't really carry there. They have sort of skidded through quite low to the keeper, but from a decent length there has been some steady carry.
Yeah, it kept low. It does. And the umpire, it's perfect for cricket now. Absolutely perfect.
Sun poking through. Sky's brightening. Berg once more, past the umpire he goes, and Virm driving away through extra cover. That'll run away for 4. It was overpitched, and Van Buren leant into it and timed it perfectly out to the leftmost block of flats across from us. Van Buren playing quite competently, goes to 22, 105 for 6.
There's a Jessup flats over there. There's some people watching. Actually, there's no one watching. Yes, there is. On the top flight of the Grace building, there's three people watching up there.
Are they Grace, Hammond and Jessup, the flats?
Yes, I think so. I'm not quite sure what order they're in, actually. I think Grace is in the middle.
Berg once again, and Van Buren across the off-stump, poke away. Bit of a mix-up, could be another run out. Oh, and the stumps are missed at the far end by Keogh. Had they been thrown down, then there would have Gloucestershire innings. Van Buren pushed away into the covers, sort of did set off for a single. Charlesworth was keen to come. Van Buren sent him back. He was halfway down. Turn and dive back into his ground at the far end. Keogh to his left-hand side, collected through, missed, and Charlesworth was safe. 105 for 6 at the end of the over.
Well, I don't know. I think that probably would have been in, actually. But anyway, Graham Van Buren helps rub the mud off Charlesworth. But, I mean, Van Buren did apologise to him, as he surely should have done. But we don't want a third run out in the Gloucestershire innings, do we? Chris Dent was well run out by, was it Keogh? He was on Proctor on his back foot, and Hankins was rather flukily run out at the non-striker's end with a drive hit. Bracewell, and he's deflected onto the stumps. Here's Samuelson bowling to left-handed Charlesworth. He's on 39 and lets it go outside the off stump. Charlesworth looking very mature for his years, only just taken his A-levels at the age of 18. Still, he's probably got his results by now, actually. We don't know what it is. But he's a very, very fine cricketer indeed. I spoke to him yesterday and I said, look, a lot of responsibility is on your shoulders. He says, well, I know that. and he was quite phlegmatic about it. 105 for 6 he's facing, and lets it go outside the off stump. That was very close, in fact, and Charlesworth knows it and raises his eyes to heaven. And thanks the Lord that didn't bowl him, but it was very, very close. 2 slips in play. Now, something like the shadows are fine. It's perfect for cricket, actually. Now, perfect. If anything, it's a little bit... We're too warm in the commentary box because the air conditioning is broken. It's freezing in the press room, boiling hot here. Sanderson comes in again and bowls, and that's defended again. And again, it squirts out to second slip. All on the ground, didn't really... Well, it was a full shot, but never troubled him, really. Never troubled him. Right, should we bring Izzy Westbury in a minute?
I'm not Izzy Westbury.
No, of course you're not. You're Izzy Duncan. She's in a bad mood now. She's in a bad mood. I
was about to say that would be very impressive if you did have Izzy Westbury up your sleeve.
Yeah, sorry about that. Defended by Charlesworth. I've made a cross now. Izzy Westbury. She's Izzy Duncan. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I haven't seen Izzy Westbury for so long, and nor Izzy Duncan. I've forgotten which is which. Sanderson bowls to the left hand side.
I know it's been raining, but she has been here for 3 days.
She has been here for 3 days, yes. Should we tell her? We'll tell her when. Acceptable. Sanderson bowls again, and that's defended by Charlesworth into the cover region. There's no run. She's not Izzy Westbury, she's Izzy Duncan. Yeah, thank you. Yep. I think you better take it from me for half an hour, shall she?
Yes, probably.
Okay. I've had an ice cream. A bit overexcited.
It's gone to your head. End of term syndrome.
Yes, it was. Sanderson bowls to Charlesworth again, and Charlesworth defends that into the mid-wicket. Ends the over 105 for 6. Van Buren's batting well on 22. Charlesworth just added 4 to his overnight score of 35. And Isabel Duncan is going to take my microphone if she can bear to come over here. Hurry up.
Thank you, Bob Hunt. Myself, Alex Winter, here at Bristol, where the skies are just about bright enough at the moment. Got back underway eventually at 3 o'clock. Long delays here for a day and a half, really, because of damp patches on the outfield, muddy patches, really, that were of grave concern to the umpires. We were hanging around for a long time yesterday before play was eventually abandoned. We were hanging around for a long time. The umpires deciding the outfield was fit. And 105 for 6 the Gloucestersburg from the Ashley Down road end, coming into Van Buren, who again is almost caught in his crease and should have been forward. Pushes down towards mid-on, where Bracewell does the fielding, and there is no run. Hello, Isabel.
Yes, great to be back and confused with Izzy Westbury. What a wonderful welcome that was. There's also a lot of debris on the side of the desk as well. There's bits of ice cream and horrible looking napkins with stains on them. There's a knife.
He could do with a
filthy knife.
Could do with a few wet wipes, Bob, couldn't he? Bird comes in once more, and Van Buren off the back foot is punching here. Good save from Richard Levy. Not the smoothest of movers, but he got down well there to save with the left hand at cover, because that was nicely timed by Gray. 4 Levy there, 105 for 6.
Well, nice and steady here at the moment, aren't they? Gloucestershire. They haven't lost a wicket so far today. Resuming play at 3 p.m. I got the SOS. I came in. I was here on time. Everything went smoothly. I wasn't held up on the suspension bridge, thank goodness.
Berg past the umpire, goes in again, and Van Buren this time just pushing gently out to Levy. Much easier piece of fielding for him out to his left, and there is no runs. You hadn't quite booked into that complete afternoon tea then?
Well, I completed the hour, the session, and had a very good game of real tennis. It was fantastic over at the real tennis court. And sort of Clifton College grounds over the bridge there.
Wonderful
raced
place.
back as soon as I realised 3 p.m. start here. So I haven't showered. I apologise now for not showering. A bit of deodorant on.
Edges slightly further away as Berg goes in again, and Van Buren calmly in his crease is again pushing to Richard Levy at extra cover, and there's no run.
But I think it's great we got some play. I mean, yesterday we were twiddling our thumbs, weren't we, and filling in a bit of time with no play. And I think we finished on the first day. 2 balls were bowled, weren't they, after lunch?
Correct.
And that all of yesterday. So It's excellent we've got some cricket, because I think around the country they're struggling more or less.
Very much so, yeah. A lot of cricket abandoned today already as Berg is in once more to Van Buren, the right-hander, who again is back to push away out into the... Proctor at point, and there is no run. 105 for 6. Did you win then?
Well, actually I ended up playing the professional there, a very nice
right.
chap called Ben Coleman. He's one of there are two professionals there, and because it was sort of lastminute.com booking, because of the state of play here, there wasn't any play, of course, so I thought I'd go and play a bit of reelers. Had a good hit with the pro.
Berg right arm over again, very full, and driving off the front foot this time as Van Buren. The ball is bobbed again, is coming to his left hand. Sun out down there, the big South African, and the over comes to an end. So 105 for 6, the Gloucesters. Northants needing another 3 wickets for their third of the 4 points they need here this week to confirm their promotion. The Gloucesters needing 9 points to confirm theirs, but events at Durham rendering those calculations redundant really. No play Wednesday due to rain between Durham and Glamorgan. Durham 262 for 8 there.
Right, well here's Sanderson from the Bristol Pavilion end. Here he is, pumping in and bowling into the left-handed Charlesworth, who drives handsomely but straight back to the bowler along the ground where it's fielded. So the teenager is still there, Charlesworth.
So Clifton College have 2 real tennis professionals.
Well, it's actually that the court, I think, is privately owned, the actual building, but it's on the land belonging to Clifton College, on those playing fields. So the school certainly use the court. They tip up once or twice a week and play a bit of real tennis. Sanderson, his orange soles are flashing. He bowls a lovely looking drive. It should be 4 runs. That was a classic drive through the covers, sweetly timed. A check drive from the left-hander Charlesworth. The teenager ticks on to 43 with that, and the score 109 for 6 here, Gloucestershire. Looking very settled and comfortable, those two players, Van Buren and Charlesworth at the moment. Lovely looking shot there.
Oh, what a tremendous shot that was. Confident stride down the pitch. Pushed its hands to the line very confidently. Tremendous timing, it sped away. He's looked in tremendous order, Charlesworth here. Only a young lad, but early signs very, very good.
He's really sort of glued this innings together, ready for Gloucestershire after many wickets fell yesterday. Sanderson, he's in, he bowls. Oh, and there's an edge there. It's along the ground to first. Just rather prodded at that one outside of the off stump, and Sanderson disappointed there. Hands on hips doing the double teapot. He didn't pick up a wicket with that. That just flew off a length. 109 for 6.
Just 18 years of age, Charlesworth, Oxford lad. Goes to school there.
Went to Teddy St Edward's school there in the middle of Oxford.
Playing just his 12th first team match here for Gloucestershire.
He debuted age 17, didn't he? And Bob Hunt would know more, and he was plucked out of his A-levels. And I heard Bob talking about he's just finished his A-levels, or he would have done back in June. Sanderson thunders in, bowls, and the left-hander gets down on one knee to defend that one, rather dramatically, Charlesworth, but keeps the ball out. Didn't get up much, that ball. 109 for 6. We resume play at 3 p.m. It was 80 for 6. And Gloucestershire playing on rather a benign-looking wicket at the moment. Perhaps it has flattened out a little bit today. It certainly isn't a results pitch. Doesn't look like one. They've been trimming the grass away. Sanderson continues, pumps his arms. He's bowling to Charlesworth once more, who squares up and defends stoutly for no run.
Yeah, the situation at the top of the week. Gloucestershire knew that if they didn't lose, high chances were they would get enough points to confirm their promotion. So every blade of live grass off this one. The roller would have been working overtime before the start of the game as well. There was a bit in it with the new ball as ever. And Northants bowled pretty well on the first morning. The run-outs, of course, contributing to this sticky position.
Sanderson once more zips in and bowls, and again to Charlesworth there, who defends. Hit a lovely 4 in that over, 4 off the over. 109 for 6. Charlesworth on 43 and Van Buren on 22, and that will be the 40th over that we've had when the scoreboard ticks over. And Gloucestershire really sort of just need to eat up time, both sides eating up time. I think Northants are obviously feeling confident that they're on their way up. The only way is up for them. Into the first division. Of course anything is possible, but it depends on the rain. It's looking very bleak up north, no more play today. I think it's looking pretty dodgy tomorrow, certainly is here as well. So both of these teams probably feeling relatively confident that it's in the bag.
Yeah, lots of heavy showers forecast here tomorrow, so I think it'll be a case of hit or miss, really. If we get a couple of sharpies, it could be it for tomorrow's play, but if we get lucky, as we've been certainly lucky here, look at miserable clouds away to our left, some heavy rain up towards the northwest of Bristol. Here is Berg from the far end, bowling full to Van Buren, who drives backward of point, not perfectly timed. Sanderson goes around to inside to collect from third man, in front of those blocks of blue seats out by the city of Bristol College. And Van Buren takes a single, goes to 23, 110 for 6. Gentleman in a blue coat gets up from his bench down beneath us. Unique feature of the Bristol ground here. Those benches have been there a very, very long time in front of the pavilion. Members taking up their favourite spots.
There's a few doggies down there as well, so it's another dog-friendly ground. Very dog-friendly in the West Country. Taunton's the same, and cat-friendly. A couple of cats.
Berg round the wicket to Charlesworth left-hander. He lets one go outside the off-stump. Full of length. Confident stride forward by the 18-year-old, who shoulders arms, and it skids through to Rossington, who's down by his right ankle to take it. Chap in a check shirt has got a pint of something cold down beneath us, it looks like, as well. Local brewery sponsor the club. Berg once again round the wicket. Charlesworth driving in front of point. Could be a couple of runs here. Gay is going to his left. Then he cuts it off and keeps him down to just one, actually. Good work by the debutant. Quickly away to his left on the edge of the square. And Charlesworth is 44, 111 for 6.
Yes, I heard Bob mention ice creams, and I certainly spotted the ice cream van as I drove in on the left there behind the shop.
Yeah, Paolo's on the ground. A favour, Bob, didn't he, Paolo?
Bob got a freebie, didn't get one for us though, did he?
Berg to Van Buren, 2 slips, and Van Buren across the off stump is defending down towards Keogh at mid-off in his full-length sweater there, Rob Keogh. He and several other of the Northants squad I saw wandering back and forth to a local cafe earlier on today for sustenance.
Yes, we were all off to the local cafe, including you, I think, Alex Winter, earlier on, to pick up your favourite coffee.
Been every morning for my white Americano.
Ah, okay. I bought Bob Hunt a flat white, very generous of me.
Berg is in again, and Van Buren pushing a straight ball here down to long leg. Just be a single. Curran is tearing away from the pavilion. And they just take one run. Van Buren goes to 24, 112 for 6. It's a real bugbear of mine, actually, that cricket grounds don't have proper coffee facilities on them. They're just sort of machine jobs normally you get in a cricket ground. It's not my, I was about to say not my cup of tea, but Berg round the wicket to Charlesworth, and the lefty is working this away to square leg. Proctor is there, just to the right hand side of umpire Mike Burns. End of the over for 6, and in theory we've got 38 more to bowl on this third afternoon, which for the moment is bright and breezy.
Yes, I'm not sure, I don't know if you've had a look at the forecast for later on. And it's funny because it feels like the dark cloud has just skirted us here at the Bristol County ground, and we've got away with it a bit because there's angry clouds. I think that's sort of northwesterly direction over there.
Correct.
Very angry left, and up ahead as well in the northerly direction. I think they've passed us by. And we've now got a bit of sunshine. There's going to be a change of bowling.
News from Taunton, the big title decider down there, just down the M5 from here. They're going to inspect at 4:30. It's currently dry, but the outfield remains a concern. So similar situation to here at Bristol earlier on, where the outfield was what was stopping us from getting underway. But every minute lost there improves Essex chances of winning back the championship.
Now, is this Bracewell coming in and bowling? And that's just turned by the right-handed Van Buren, the stocky Van Buren, into the leg side for no run where it's fielded. Yeah, so is he in number 34? Because if we're looking down the sheet, there's quite a lot of numberless players in the Northamptonshire side, which is not very helpful for us commentators. And Bracewell, so is Bracewell number 34, Alex
Correct.
Winter? He is, so I can ink that in now to make our life a little bit easier up here. Bracewell. Who's the overseas player for Northants? Has been parachuted in for the last 3 games. He's in and bowls. That's lovely and full. An attempted drive, not quite timed there off the front foot from Van Buren, who just rehearses the shot. There are 2 slips in place, a backward point. That's Gay there at backward point. Extra cover, mid-off, mid-on. There's a mid-wicket. There's no square leg. Just tempting the batsman to play across the line. Long leg down there, hands on hips, as Bracewell grabs the ball at the top of his run-up in the sunshine. And he hurtles in, coming over the wicket. There's a lovely looking flashing cut there, a late cut. It's 4 runs, beautifully timed there by Van Buren, who just rocks back, gets that back foot back and across, and slashes it away, beautifully controlled. 116 for 6. Van Buren goes on to 28. So we resumed here at 3 p.m. in Bristol at 80 for 6, and they put on a few runs here this afternoon, Gloucestershire. Partnership of 49 so far. Bob Hunt is still awake. Well done. I'm surprised. He was talking about having a little snooze. Thank you for that. Very useful. It's like having a statistician next to us, isn't it? So let's see how Bracewell replies to this one. He continues to bowl to Van Buren, who's crouched in the crease and drives again. They're going to take a quick single here. There's going to be a shot at the stumps. No, there isn't. The ball wasn't collected quickly enough. And they do skip through for 1. It's very good running there to take that single. It was hit to the fielder. And the 50 partnership is up. Acknowledged gently by the crowd. 117 for 6.
Sorry, I'm not quite sure why there wasn't a shot at the stumps there, because Keogh appeared to have the ball in his grasp, didn't have too far to go to his left, gathered, or certainly appeared to gather, and was winding up for the throw, and then seemed to pull out. Whether or not he didn't have the ball in his grasp, there were 1 or 2 fielders stood there, had the double teapot out, wondering why he didn't let one go there, because it was a sharp run, and I think had the stumps been thrown down, then Van Buren would have had to been very smart to get up the non-striker's end.
We were expecting him to do it. It would have been the natural thing, as Bracewell once more jogs in, bowls. It's just short of a length, but defended there nicely by Charlesworth, a left-hander, the 18-year-old, who's looking very steady Eddie, scratching in his crease. 2 slips in place, hungry slips behind him. But Gloucestershire just easing into this innings. The entire day off yesterday. I think they played a lot of football. There was some sort of indoor football league going on. There's a lot of screeching and yelping.
There was a furious contest happening, wasn't there?
There was. They were enjoying themselves. As Bracewell bowls, a New Zealander. There's a lovely looking run there. Just leans into it, clipped into the leg side. They'll come back for the second for Charlesworth. 3 is the ball is fielded by the athletic Gay, who's onto that quickly and cuts off the third. And 2 more added to the total. Charlesworth goes on to 46, and the score now 119 for 6. And Gloucestershire still hungry for bonus points. I'll be hoping to bat on as far as possible. We can get the most number of bonus points from batting, a maximum of 5, and get 3 from bowling, just to keep them safe. And we all know that Northants just need 2 more to be absolutely clear and on their way up.
And it would be nice if they had that moment on the field, wouldn't it? That's what I was saying to David Ripley yesterday, actually. I had a bit of a chat with him and said it would be nice to have that moment on the field where you get to 200, get that bonus points, and there can be a bit of a big cheer and a bit of a moment to cherish. Berg to continue from the far end. 119 for 6 comes into Van Buren, who's driving down to mid-on. Pleasant timing, but well saved from Sanderson to his left-hand side. Little slide there from the Yorkshireman. And there's no run. And Matt tweets to say he was pleasantly surprised to find a well-known coffee chain just outside the ground at Old Trafford. Indeed, there's a decent coffee available there. I indulged myself my trip up there earlier in the season as Berg is in once more. This is flicked away down the leg side by Van Buren and runs away for 4 down beneath us. Berg losing his line. Little fine glance from Van Buren. And the ball flashing away to the right-hand side of Curran at long leg and into the advertising hoarding in front of the members. So Van Buren continues to play. 123 for 6 are the Gloucesters. Yeah, not enough good coffee available at county cricket grounds. So I tend to find I have to go outside to get a decent coffee.
I think you're a bit of a connoisseur though, Alex Winter. There is a quite nice cafe downstairs.
There is.
I haven't tried their coffee.
Yeah, it's not quite up to scratch as Berg comes in again, bending back up towards the bowler's left hand, and there is no run. I just want a proper coffee that's made properly, where the beans are ground there. They put the little shovel thing in to get the whatever it's called. This is a terrible explanation, but you know what I'm talking about.
Well, you're more of an expert than me.
You know how coffee is made, don't you?
Roughly speaking,
the beans are roasted.
They grind them.
You put the
they
thing
add water.
in.
Yep.
And you get a sort of a clump of coffee that you put in the machine as Berg comes in again, very full, strikes the pad, with Van Buren trying to flick it legs short mid-wicket, and there is no run. There are not enough proper coffee machines on county cricket grounds, and it would be a tremendous money spinner for them. Coffee is a massive, massive industry.
Oh, absolutely. Awful lot of coffee bars. We spent several hours in one this morning, as a matter of fact. Bob Hunt and I, chatting away, putting the world to rights.
Exactly. But if that machine was in the ground, you might have stayed in the ground.
I think you've got to bring your own, haven't you? Shove one in the back of your car. One of those Nespresso things.
Entire machine. That you could. Please.
Plastic, aren't they?
1, 2, 3 for 6. Berg is in again. Van Buren is defending a length ball here. Out to Levy at extra cover. Comes to his right to collect, and there is no run.
A bit of action on Twitter. Would you like to read a couple of these tweets out? I don't know if you've been here before, but Lilia Lumi has been in touch. I think she supports Yorkshire. She says both teams will go up, talking about the two teams here, Northampton and Gloucestershire. I'm enjoying the brilliant commentary, thank you so much. I met Isabel at Scarborough earlier in the season, so she did. Scarbados.
Berg once again far end, bowls to Van Buren. He's defending once more from a decent length, down to Sanderson at mid-on, and the over comes to an end. 1, 2, 3 for 6 the Gloucesters, with another 35 overs scheduled on this third day.
Yes, also Neil Bolton has been in touch. He said, just realised that Bob Hunt is on 5 Live Sports Extra. First time this season, ? Anything could happen, he says. Hope Alex Winter and Izzy Duncan keep him in order. Oh, he's nodded off. He's not even listening, is he? Come on, pay attention, Bob. Let's keep sharp here. He needs a coffee, that's what he needs. So here we have Doug Bracewell of New Zealand tossing the ball from hand to hand. He will be bowling to the left-hander. That is Charlesworth. No teenage angst down there. Crouched in the crease as Bracewell thunders in. Oh, there's a flash outside off stump. Looking for that cut. But the ball rather rose at him off a length and manages just to swat some fresh air there from Charlesworth. Looking a bit casual.
Yeah. Loosest stroke he's played so far since the resumption. He's got a chance to make himself a nice score here, Charlesworth. 46 to his name so far. He's still getting in touch at _Alex Winter, at Fine Glance, and at Bob Hunt Sport on the tweet machine.
Bracewell once more. Here he is, thundering in, coming around the wicket to the left hand. I think about single here off the bat of Charlesworth, but he thinks better of it. Is sent back by Van Buren. Just pushes that into the offside, which is quite well armoured there, with an extra cover and a mid-off. 2 slips still in place and a long leg. Also a shortish mid-wicket. I think that's Rob. Is it Rob Keogh or is it... No, it's not Rob Keogh, is it?
Levy there.
It's Levy, that's right, because he wears the sun hat, the floppy sun hat.
I don't think Rob Keogh will like you for that comparison.
Yes. Oh, pops in the bouncer. Just rocks back there. Charlesworth out of the way of the bouncer from Bracewell. A little bit of frustration here from Northampton, unable to make the breakthrough so far today after we resume play at 3 p.m. Doug Bracewell doing his best. He was just signed for the final 3 championship games for Northampton. I think they were chatting to Kemar Roach, weren't they, initially?
They were, yeah, that was their number 1 target.
Yeah. But, Doug's doing a good job. Here he is, all muscle. Still coming around and bowls to... Oh, it's a nice little flick just off the hip there of Charlesworth, and they'll just saunter through for 1 as that's fielded by long leg, and the score goes on to 124 for 5, and Charlesworth going on to 47. Van Buren facing on 33. But yeah, impressive. Charlesworth, the 18-year-old, as you say, hasn't played too much first-class cricket. This is his 11th game, averaging 18 with the bat, but very promising. Debuted last year, age 17. A mere whipper-snapper. Van Buren, once more crab-like in the crease. And Bracewell up to the crease, bowls, and not quite timed there. Comes forward to meet the ball from Van Buren. No run, 1, 2, 4 for 5. A little bit cloudy, a little bit gloomy, but it's just pleasant to have some cricket today. There's a lot of twiddling of thumbs yesterday. There was no play at all here at Bristol. I think that was the case around some of the county grounds. But we're thrilled to have more cricket from 3 p.m. this afternoon. I rushed back from the real tennis court to get here on time. A little bit sweaty, haven't showered. Touch of deodorant. As Bracewell bowls, that's slashed away, and again not time. Comes off the toe end of the bat this time. It's fielded easily by Gay there at backward point. The debutant. It's the end of the over. 1, 2, 4, 4, 6. Van Buren on 33. Charlesworth on 47. We've had 45 overs here, and Gloucestershire surviving well.
How sweaty or otherwise is real tennis?
Sweatier if you play singles. There's a lot of very elderly gentlemen that play doubles. In fact, at Lord's, there's a real tennis ground there. Once a week, there are 4 90-something-year-olds who turn up and play doubles.
I say.
Once a week they do that. I wouldn't like to add up their ages. It would take some time. But yeah, you can play at any age. If you've been playing for a long time, obviously you've got a bit of F&G, a bit of flight and guile in your serve up onto the penthouse roof. But it's a game for everybody. People think it's elite. It's not elite. Bob Hunt keeps whinging.
Going to get some spin here. Keogh's going to come on from the Ashley Down Road end. So we've had a couple of overs of Hutton, some of Berg. Now another change with Keogh at the far end. He's going to have a slip in place. A short extra cover has gone in. Quite tight there, Brett Hutton. Orthodox extra cover. Orthodox mid-wicket as well. Mid-on, mid-off, backward point, deep point, and the deep square. Keogh is right arm round with his off-spin. Touch short though, and cut away by Ben Charlesworth. Out to the cover fence to our left-hand side. Up goes Gay to his left to collect in there. And they get a single. So Charlesworth continues to impress, goes to 48, 125 for 6. It gets a bit gloomier here at Neville Road. Umpire Mike Burns to our right hand side as a glance to the heavens as Keogh goes over the wicket to the right-handed Van Buren, who is back and pushing away through the covers. Forced that away off quite a straight line. Shouldn't get 4. Proctor's after it, slides, keeps it in play, and they come back for a gentle second run. Takes Van Buren to 35, 127 for 6. He was forcing that, Van Buren, off a probably middle and off. Made an early decision to go back, playing against the turn. As Keogh steps in again, 2 straight this time, and whipped leg side by Van Buren. Out to Gay, who's at deep square for the right-hander. And Van Buren is now 36, 128 for 6. Sunshine has disappeared. That blast of warmth has gone. But still a good number inside the ground, which is pleasant to see as Keogh's round the wicket once again, and Charles was struck on the power to cry for LBW. Looked a bit high actually. Keogh was very enthusiastic as ever. Certainly turned. Certainly struck him on the maybe the back pad actually, which is why Keogh was very keen indeed. But maybe high, maybe outside the line. Appeal down on one knee by Keogh. He's back to his mark. Long sleeve shirt with the sleeves pulled up. Steps in again. Flatter delivering. Pushed away by Charlesworth. Eased away really. Out across the square to Gay at deep point to our left hand side for a single. And Charlesworth is now 49, 129 for 6. Sky's darkening as Keogh is in once more. Short though, and pulled away out the deep square, just short of Gay to our left hand side. Huge crowd. Buren would have had his heart in his mouth. Bailed out towards the car park. Short of Gay at deep square. So Van Buren will keep the bowling. And the Gloucesters, who were 67 for 6 in the first morning, and now 130 for 6 and in slightly better position.
Absolutely. Just recap of the uncontested toss on day 1. So Gloucestershire forced to bat on rather a flat-looking pitch. However, once they started playing, it didn't play out as a flat-looking pitch, as 6 wickets fell on that first day. 80 for 6 at lunch, and then only 2 balls bowled after lunch on the first day. Nothing yesterday at all. And here we are today from 3 o'clock. We've resumed, and delighted to have cricket back at Bristol at the county ground. Bracewell will continue from the Bay of Plenty. Here he is and bowls, and that's short and wide outside of the off stump, and has been punished by Van Buren. Oh, the rain has come. I'm sorry to say that's really crept up on us. Suddenly the rain has arrived after that boundary from Van Buren. It's likely they'll come off, I think, at this point. The umpires are having a good look around. Hands on hips, the players are coming
surely
off.
they have to come off.
That really took us by surprise. Goodness me, that came out of nowhere, that rain.
The skies had been darkening, and you just feared for what was over our shoulders. And what was over our shoulders is a very sharp shower indeed. Hopefully a shower is all it. At the moment, the players making their way off the ground to our right hand side. So the frustration continues here at Bristol as well. The Gloucester's 134 for 6. Elsewhere there is still some cricket going on. Playing at Lords, where Derbyshire 110 for 4 replying to Middlesex 260. Playing at Grace Road, where Lancashire in some bother there, 105 for 7 replying to the Foxes 155. And also still play on at the Oval, where Surrey continue to pile on runs in their first innings. 380 for 6 they are against Notts. But no play today at Edgbaston, Yorkshire, Warwickshire, at Chesterley Street, Durham, Glamorgan, and at Canterbury, Kent, Hampshire. Going to inspect at 4:30 between Somerset and Essex to just see if they can get today, because Somerset continue to be frustrated in their attempts to try and force victory, which would give them a title for the very first time. And also no play today at Hove, where Sussex are playing Worcestershire. So once again, rain has arrived to the West Country. Stop play at Bristol. Heavy droplets continuing to fall. Looking at the tree across to our right hand side by the City of Bristol College over there next to the scoreboard, you can see the rain fairly clearly coming down. The covers are on, and the bowlers' run-ups are being covered as well, so we could be set for another extended delay here at Bristol in a game where plenty of time has been lost already, and you would think enough time lost already to prevent the positive result in this match, but it would suit both teams, with Northants only needing a maximum of 4 points and Gloucestershire a maximum of 9 points to be assured of promotion.
And Northants halfway there, of course, with their 2 bowling points. A shame for Gloucestershire at the moment, because they're getting into their stride with the bat, particularly with young Charlesworth. They have a 50 partnership between the two of them, and Charlesworth on the cusp of his 50. He's got 49 runs, and I always think it's harder for batsmen coming in and out with bad weather. It just upsets their timing. They've got to settle back in and sort of start all over again when there's a big enough break. I think perhaps it's just a short, sharp shower. May have even stopped already, but it's still rather gloomy out there. Unfortunately, we can't use the lights here. I think there's only 15 days of the year that they can use the lights here down at Bristol. That'll be saved for the internationals and big T20s. So maybe that light comes onto it, but at the moment the covers are coming on. There's a bit of a wind as the covers are blustering and fluttering out there. They're busy. The groundsmen are very busy covering the ground and preventing any further damage.
Yeah, they obviously feel there is a bit more to come, because they're quite keen to hammer these covers into position out there. Bowler's run-up's covered, and a chap to our right hand side is poised over there also to pull some more sheets off. So we'll leave it there for the time being. Gloucestershire 134 for 6, so not too much progress from the 80 for 6 at which they resumed. We've only had 15 overs on resumption here, so only an hour's cricket, but grateful to get any cricket at all really this time of the year. But for the time being, from Bristol, it's goodbye. Yes, they are, but no further progress to their position on the first day of this game. They've reduced Gloucestershire to 80 for 6 on the first morning, but we've had no play since then. So 2 of the 4 points that Northampton needed to confirm promotion this week are in the bag already. Finally, we did get back underway at 3 o'clock here. The skies have been clear all day, really, but the groundsmen were just, or the umpires rather, were still concerned about a couple of damp patches on the outfield, which kept play from getting underway yesterday at all, and has prevented most of the third day's play as well. But we did get back. Gloucestershire extended their first innings to 1. But then a shower arrived again, and off the players went. But the covers have been removed, and hopefully we'll get it back. Gloucestershire 1-3-4 for 6.
Ladies and gentlemen, the umpires have decided that play will resume at 4:15 and that the allocation of overs for the day will therefore be revised to 29. So play will resume at 4:15 and the allocation of overs for the day to be revised to 29.
Well, hello and welcome back to the county ground, and would you believe it, the batsmen have walked out and the score is 134 for 6, lost 4 overs because of that little short sharp shower which was swept over very quickly, and the ground staff are very quick to clear it up, and no full covers on, just the covers of the wicket and the bowlers run up. The umpires are out there, and Northants have a huddle of 11 players. They're not waiting, the batsmen are out there, and this is holding things up actually. The score is 134 for 6, and Van Buren has batted well for 41, and Charles Worth is one shy of his 50 on 49, and these two particularly have batted really well. They put on, let me work it out, I think they're 4 for this 7th wicket partnership, which is a very important wicket for Gloucestershire because there's not overly much batting to come for the Gloucestershire people. Izzy Duncan's alongside me, not Izzy Westbury, I'm sorry about that.
There's no need to dwell on the point. Yes, Izzy Duncan here. There are 2 Izzies that commentate. It's all very confusing. Izzy Ammon.
Yes.
Izzy and Lizzie. In fact, I did once commentate with Izzy Westbury, so Izzy and Izzy were behind the mic, and that was at Yorkshire. I'm sure the Yorkshire folk really appreciated 2 posh Izzies talking to them.
Well, I had posh Izzy Westbury and Lizzie Ammon at Swansea about 4 or 5 years ago.
You had both? Yeah.
And that was the first time that 2 women had commentated with a man.
Were they?
Yes, indeed.
Keep your hands to yourself, eh?
I did keep my hands very much to myself. It's going to be...
Is this your end?
Well, I can do it if
you
you
can
like.
have it,
It's
yeah.
going to be Bracewell.
Okay.
Bracewell bowling from the Bristol Pavilion end. He's going to be bowling to Van Buren. I'm not quite sure how many balls this over's left. I think probably 2, in fact. Probably more. Yes, 2. Let's say it is 2. As Bracewell bowls to Van Buren, and Van Buren defends, and they go for a short sharp single, which is easily negotiated, and he's off the mark again. 42 to him, 135 for 6. The umpires cross over.
I think there are 4 more balls remaining now. I think he'd only bowled 1 ball.
All right, okay.
Bracewell. He was hit for 4.
Oh, that's right.
Just before they came off, and then the rain took us by surprise.
Yes, you did.
Came in from the east.
Yeah.
Suddenly it arrived, and,
You're right.
And we were off. So Bracewell's got a bit more work to do.
Well, Charlesworth is 1 short of his 50, and there's runs on the offside. He's a push and run, or he could drive laboriously for that lovely cover drive, which is in his locker, but that defends that ball, and it goes out to mid-on, who fields and picks it up. So you played real tennis, did you, in that little gap, did you, Izzy?
I did. I rushed off. I was a bit fed up with sitting around for 6 hours yesterday.
Quite right, nothing wrong with it,
sitting on our bottoms all day, and I thought, well, I'll rush off. And thank goodness, I got back here in time just to get on air. And
you did?
Not the least bit flustered, a little bit sweaty, as I mentioned earlier.
Yes,
I've sprayed on some eau de toilette.
You sprayed on me as well.
Yeah, well, you needed it, didn't you?
It's Bracewell bowls again, and Charlesworth reaches out, and that is his 50, and it's a lovely shot. The bat was a long way from his body, and it's square driven by Charlesworth, and he moves on to 53, and the Gloucestershire faithful rise, because it's a very good innings by Charlesworth for showing a lot of maturity for such a man. And I gather, I'm telling you about his A result.
I know you are.
2 A's and a B.
I think that's very impressive, particularly from a lad who's played a lot of cricket last year and this year during his A-levels, and we know how time-consuming cricket is and 4-day game and all that sort of thing. He debuted last year, age 17. This is his 11th first-class game, so he's able to handle a bit of cricket and a bit of work.
He's not going to university, which I think is very sensible. I mean,
I think that's a shame. He's not going to an MCCU.
Well, he loves his sport. He wants to play cricket.
You can do both. You can have it all.
Not an MCCU, you can't. You have to play for someone like Loughborough.
Or Oxford. You can play a bit of first-class cricket, though.
Well, not much.
You also get noticed.
Well, he's noticed here.
He is noticed. We've
he's
noticed
53,
him.
139 for 6. As he takes guard again, having received the adulation, and the bouncer is given too many ducks handsomely underneath it, and it goes through to Rossington behind the stumps.
Yeah, very impressive from Teddy's, from St Edward's School in the middle of Oxford.
Posh school.
Another posh school, yeah. A lot of poshness around today, isn't there?
Well, only you.
Well, no, I think...
You went to Charterhouse.
I think there's no need to mention that. Ben down there's quite posh, I would imagine.
Look, there's not much posh in Gloucestershire's side, apart from Ben Charlesworth. As Bracewell bowls to him and defends, the leading edge actually comes out to Cover for Andrea. That's the end of the over. 139 for 6. Van Buren on 42 and Charlesworth on 53.
Very tasty partnership here of 72
Well, I tell you what's good
between
about
Charlesworth and
it.
Van Buren.
I tell you what's good about it. I mean, if they carry on like this, they could get a batting bonus point, which would only, well, they're 61 runs shy of that. And they're looking untroubled at the moment. There's an LBW decision that Keogh was sure he had, but it was reviewed apparently, but it looked particularly close. And I think it's going to be Keogh again coming in from the Ashley Down Road end. Isabel Duncan.
Here we go. It is Rob Keogh.
Oh yes, what
Certainly
about
with
this?
his off with his tweakers.
Did you sent me a cheeky text saying, do you want to go to the cinema tonight?
It's not a date.
It's a blinking
it's
date.
not a date. just wondered, nice to have a bit of company. You're a sort of fatherly figure,
I'm
Bob
not-
Hunt.
I'm not coming.
Avuncular figure.
I'm playing.
Oh, why aren't you coming? Are you standing me up?
Yeah.
I'm not used to being stood up. Right, so Rob Keogh. Oh, my confidence has been crushed. I'm not sure I can even commentate now. Rob Keogh. Here he is. From the Ashley Down Road end, is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
Correct. There's one slip, and there's a shortish mid-wicket as well. Fine legs up on the single. Here he is. Rob Keogh tiptoes in, bowls, and has defended delicately there by Van Buren. Just pokes it into the onside for no run. There is a deep cover point out there at the short boundary. Extra covers on the single, mid-off, mid-on, and a regular mid-wicket and deep square leg gay down there. As Keogh twirls in and bowls and comes onto the front foot nicely there. Van Buren.
What film did you want to see anyway?
Well, I haven't done the research yet.
Oh, that's
Well,
it.
I'm going on my own, aren't I?
I'm
It's going to be
waiting.
fun. Thanks very much.
But in no mates.
Rob Keogh, here he is again. Creeping in past the umpire, up to the crease, bowls. And just trying to turn that around the corner. There isn't a run there. Leg is up on the single, and it looks like the Charlesworth was very keen for that. There's an overthrow
It's
now.
buzzers.
It's going to go for buzzers.
Excellent.
They're going to get 4 runs, 4 overthrows, as that is signalled. Chaos out there from Northamptonshire. And it really began with Charlesworth going for a suicidal single that was never there.
Well, actually, the fielder should have stopped it, going for 4.
It wasn't backed up very well. I don't think he was expecting a shot at the stumps, but there we go. But 4 more runs gained there. 143 now. Bonus runs for Gloucestershire.
Well, there was nothing. He didn't intend a run, did he? Van Buren just tickled it behind.
No.
his pads.
We knew that Fine Leg was there up on the
Yeah.
single. That was Bracewell, who would cut it off perfectly correctly. For some reason, Charlesworth wanted to run, to ants in his pants. So Rob Keogh, busily polishing the ball, trying to get something out of it. This is the 47th over now here, and Rob Keogh, oh gosh, very industrious, isn't he?
Well, it's probably got wet under those old covers.
Yeah, I
which
think
it
you're
went to.
right. As the ball raced away there for 4 overthrows. Golden runs for Gloucestershire. Keogh. Here he is once more. Hop, skip and a jump. He's in, he bowls, and that's a nice looking defensive shot from Van Buren.
I don't think the ball's turning too much, actually, but he's got his length right, Keogh. Yeah, LBW decision turned down dramatically, but
Keogh again. Here he is bowling his little off. He's right arm over the wicket, and Van Buren just punches for the front foot this time. Check dry, but it's fielded by mid-on for no run. 1-4-3 for 6, and not looking particularly rattled, these two batsmen.
No, fine.
Since they resumed at 3 o'clock, they had to come off quarter of an hour. We had a short, sharp shower.
short, sharp.
Short, sharp shower. But they're back again. Only wasted 15 minutes with that as Keogh bowls. And looks for the pull shot there.
It was there.
Going with the spin, but doesn't manage to make contact, Van Buren, where it's fielded by the wicketkeeper. No run, 143 for 6 at the end of another Rob Keogh over. He's bowled 2 overs, 0 for 6. Primary rate of 3.
Well, that was a bad ball down the leg side. It should have been put away by Van Buren, but he took it with a bit too much speed. Attacked it too much. Charlesworth is now facing on 53. Van Buren's caught up with him at start of play. Van Buren was on 5 and Charlesworth was on 35. So Van Buren's batted particularly well today. He's at the non-striker's end. It's going to be Bracewell coming into bowl to Charlesworth, who's happily there on 53 runs to his name. They will need some more as Bracewell bowls to Charlesworth and Charlesworth defends. And Bracewell bends down to pick it up. And he throws the ball to someone else to polish it on his behalf. Now, you were talking about real tennis, Isabel Duncan, and you said something about the server was a servant. Were you taking the mickey out?
No, not at all. Real tennis is several hundred years old, and most of the people who played it were pretty posh.
Yeah.
And they were too posh to serve. So the servant would have to put the ball into play by throwing it up on the penthouse roof.
That's bizarre. And that's driven back by Charlesworth. Again, no run.
That's where the word comes from.
Is
Serve.
Servant.
Short for servant.
Right.
You get your servant or your
So
butler.
why did the servant have to do it then?
I had something to do with, it's sort of beneath you just to start the rally.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it is ridiculous. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Times have changed. I did actually serve today. Slightly reluctantly. There was nobody stepped in to serve for me. Quite like serving.
Yes.
They're not powerful serves in real tennis. It's all about spin and line and length.
I would like that game, I think. I like spinning.
Come and play.
Bracewell bowls are not posh enough, and it's defended by Charlesworth back to mid-on, who picks it up. Now you play rackets as well, don't you?
There is a rackets court at Clifton
Yes,
College, and
rackets,
the cricket comes into this because of Reggie Williams, who is the
Yes.
pro up there, who kept wicket here at Gloucestershire
He did.
for 11 years, from
Yes.
1990 to 2001, I
Deputised
think.
with Jack Russell when he was on England duty.
Exactly. So quite a few first-class games. 123 catches, 17 stumpings.
Yes.
Just looked it up the other day.
Bracewell bowls to Charlesworth, and Charlesworth drives again, but doesn't quite. Oh, look at that! I got it wrong. Actually, it was a beautiful shot by Charlesworth. I thought it was going to be stopped at cover point, but it went between cover and mid-off. And another lovely crisp drive by Charlesworth takes him out to 57. He's driving particularly lucidly on the offside today.
Looking crisp. And caressing the ball, the left-hander. Not quite Gower-esque, not yet. He needs to tuck his shirt in, I
No.
think, to look a bit more Gower-esque.
Well, he's a very nice chap. He gave me a lovely interview yesterday, and I said to him, do you mind me talking to you in the middle of your innings? He said, not at all, Bob. I said,
Oh.
not at all.
Ah, that's good. Forthcoming. Are you training for a career in the media later on? It'll be after your job soon, Bob Hunt. Careful.
Well, I said to him, are you happy? And he said, no, are you in good form? He said, I feel in reasonably good nick. And these two have really, they've almost doubled the score for Gloucestershire. In fact, they all, about 15 short of that. Came to go when the score was 67, so they now put on 80 for this seventh wicket. And that's defended by Charlesworth again, back into his crease. So they put on 80, which is good, because 80 times 2. In fact, they have more than double the score for Gloucestershire, haven't they?
They have. I'm in agreement there.
Yes.
Your maths is almost spot on.
It is spot on,
Well
indeed,
done. Well, we'd like to hear from the general public out there, as
Yeah,
long as
we
they're not
would.
too
Well,
critical or rude. We do scan all messages. So, Twitter feeds. I'm Isabel Duncan at Fineglance, at Bob Hunt Sport, and at _Alex Winter. Get in touch.
Bracewell bowls, and that's another lovely crisp drive. That's another lovely shot by Charlesworth. His cover drives are a beauty to behold. That's the second one of the over, and he moves on to 61. Now, I do think, Isabel Duncan, that that Charlesworth, if he can stay there, they're only 49 runs of a batting bonus point. Okay, one batting bonus point might not mean too much in the scheme of things, but that would give them 6 points if the game was drawn. And they need 9, but it's just a bit of a safety gap, isn't it, really?
And of course, they're eyeing up tomorrow, knowing there are going to be quite a few showers around. That's the current forecast, and they'll be doing their best to gobble up any bonus points. And if they can eke their way to 200, all the better to pick up that extra point. And of course, Northamptonshire, we know, only need 2 more points for utter safety, that safety net, to bounce on up to Division 1. Lancashire are top of the pops, number 1. They're all the way. They've secured that place.
I've got breaking news.
Oh,
Taunton, another inspection at 4:30, which is 4 minutes away. So that's I think that is the game of the day, isn't it? Down
it
at
is.
Taunton?
People will abandon us, no doubt, and go off to Taunton, sadly.
Well,
But there we are. Are we having a change of bowling? Yes, I think we might be having a change of bowling. The announcement will be made. Is Keogh continuing? It is continuing.
Yes,
He's continuing. Keogh. With his off breaks, Rob Keogh will continue. It's my end, isn't it? The Ashley down road end. Possessive of this end. It's all the very smart, glossy flats at that end. And a few people on their balconies. Not many. Rob Keogh, once again, he's bowling to Van Buren, who cuts that away nicely, but there is a man at deep point where it's fielded, and Van Buren goes on to 47, and the score 152 for 6. And this partnership now worth 81. My maths is correct.
No, it's not 80.
I think it is correct, actually, before you argue.
67.
The partnership?
No.
I'm talking about the partnership.
No. Oh dear. They came together when the score was 67. The score is now 152.
As once again Keogh bowls, and that's turned into the onside where it's fielded. They won't be taking a run. Well, I'm looking at Crick Info, and they're saying the current partnership between these two is 84 runs. Are you questioning that?
Well, you said you didn't say 84.
I did say 84. Put your hearing aid in, Grandad.
You said nothing like 84 at all.
I said 80 something, and I worked it out. Thank you. Keogh comes around the wicket, and that's flicked into the leg side, just in front of square, off Charlesworth's bat, and they didn't almost walk that single, and the score goes on to 154 for 6. Charlesworth on to 62 now, unless the scoreboard is slowing up. Van Buren at the other end on 47. Van Buren facing, crouched in the crease. There's a close-ish mid-wicket, and an extra cover in place on the single. Deep point, fine legs up on the single, one slip. Keogh bowls, and Curran drives with a flurry there, but he's not going to get a run for it. So we'll go straight along the ground to mid-on for no run, 153 for 6. Partnership worth 84. So we're in the 49th over now. Quite an oldish ball.
Sort of middle-aged, isn't it?
Sort of soft and saggy around the middle. As once more he's in, and that's a nice little just tip and run there from Van Buren. They'll go through for 1. So Van Buren ticks on to 48 and the score 154 for 6.
It's correct. Perfectly correct, yes.
It's a feeling of rain in the air, don't you think? It's
Well,
a little bit dark.
it is a bit dark.
A bit dark.
Yeah, I think it's just like light. It's just about okay at the moment, but I think they might have to go off soonish, which will be a shame.
That's Keogh's in. Oh, what's happened there?
A slip came down from left. I thought he was a right-hander.
Goodness me. He's pulled out of his run up there, Keogh, as the slip moved across for the left-hander. As Charlesworth just plays delicately there in front of his eyes, and defends beautifully there off the bowling of Keogh. That's the end of another over. We've had 49 when the scoreboard ticks over. 154 for 6, and Charlesworth on 62. I was having a look at Charlesworth's top score. He's only played, this is his 11th first-class game, Ben Charlesworth. Top score of 77 not out, so he's not too far away from
No,
that
it's not.
on 62 currently.
I've got news for you.
Have you?
You've got to go.
Have I got to go?
Yeah.
Have I been sacked already?
He's sacked already, yeah. He's playing real tennis.
Goodness
He's got
me.
to do an update, you see.
Okay,
He's got to
cheerio
do an
everybody.
update. Yeah, cheers. See you tomorrow, if you turn up. Oh, you want this? Oh, no, he's got that one.
Hello all, seamless as ever.
What am I doing here? That was a ridiculous farce. Ridiculous farce. Right, who's bowling now? Oh, God, I don't know what's happening here. Anyway, it's a run. It's a run by... They go back for 2. They scurry, and Van Buren has to make it. And he does go through the gears, does Van Buren. He's a very short man, but he's turned them on then. Gets 2, and he's raising his bat for a 50. A very finely constructed 50 by Graham Van Buren. So I say, was catching up, and they give each other a little... They don't give each other a hug. They give a little mannish... No, well, come on, what do you want me to do? Oh, yes, it's a farce. I've got to move. He has his own microphone. Alex Wynne has his own microphone. I'm using it, apparently. Right. Okay, bowls, and that's cut again by Van Buren. That's got to be another, just a single. They think about coming back for 2. Van Buren is displaying his rich vein of strokes, as is Charlesworth at the moment. Right, okay then. And then the sun comes out, which is a blessing, a lovely blessing, in fact. It is Proctor bowling from the Bristol Pavilion end. He's bowling to the left-handed Charlesworth, who checks his guard. He always likes to check his guard as Charlesworth. And on the leg side, or they know his lovely cover drives. There's only 2 fielders on the leg side, or 3 at a long leg as well. But they pat the offside for negate his cover drives as Proctor bowls to Charlesworth. And this time he turns it down the leg side, and he gets a long leg, runs round to field it, and he gets himself an easy-peasy single. And I would imagine that Sports Extra is probably at Taunton now. I don't know. Could be.
Well, they're not playing there yet, so I doubt it.
All right. They have an inspection at 4:30. An inspection at 4:30 means they're only got about half an hour's play in when light comes in these late September matches, which are... Well, they're always a bit difficult to play, but it was a lovely weekend last week, but not so good this week, as Proctor bowls to Van Buren again, and Van Buren drives lavishly and handsomely. He's not going to get a 4, he's going to get a 2, as Emilio Gay fields on the cover boundary. Good throw comes in right above the stumps. 160 for 5, 53 to Van Buren and 63 to Charlesworth. Well, I can't see these two getting out, you know. Can you, Alex Winter?
They've looked quite secure, haven't they?
They have, yeah. Something to that, of course, will be out next ball, as always, but there's just one slip in now, and it's, again, a very crowded offside field for the right-handed Van Buren. Proctor bowls to him, and it's a short ball, and he tried to hook it and then withdrew his bat at the last minute, and it's not a no ball, but it was pretty short. 160 for 6. So Gloucestershire really, this is good. They're buying time, which is good on the Gloucestershire point of view, and it means that Northampton can't get at them. It's even better. If they get another batting bonus point, that's 6 runs, 6 points, which is defended by Van Buren, ends the over. 53 to him and 63 to Charlesworth.
Graham Van Buren's 50 came from 82 balls.
82 balls, Van Buren's 50, that was good. And here it's quite a lively crowd, I have to say. I mean, it's a shame the weather's not better, because I think there'd have been a massive for this denouement of the season. With Gloucestershire needing, well, ideally they need to win it, but a draw would suffice, so they get 9 points. But anyway, there's no play at Durham today, so I can't see a result at Chesterley Street tomorrow. Can you, Alex Winter?
Wouldn't have thought so, no, ball punt. Here is Keogh from the Ashley Down Road end, right arm round to Charlesworth, forward, bit of grip there, pushing out the thickish inside edge, just wide of point, and there is no run. Bracewell coming to his left from backward point. There are 2 fieldsmen in an extra cover. Hutton quite tight at short extra, leave you a beat deeper to orthodox. Slip in place as well. Sun out now as Keogh bowls again, throws one up, and it's pushed from a very full length back up towards the bowler, and there is no run. 2 sweepers out on either square boundary, point to our left and deep square to our right as Keogh is in again. Flatter and Charlesworth back to play out to the deeper of the extra covers. That's Richard Levy.
He's got a lot of time as Charlesworth,
Yeah,
hasn't he?
yeah, the best players do give that illusion of time, and Charlesworth so far has certainly had that. Mid off and mid on pretty orthodox, and short mid wicket also in place as Keogh bowls and forward. Charlesworth leaning here, bend of the front knee, running it back up towards the bowler's right hand for no run.
I think these two are a decent combination for Gloucestershire at this stage of the game.
Keogh once more, very full, bit flatter this time, and again Charlesworth getting right out to it to play out towards short extra.
Gloucestershire have got a good batsman coming, number 8 in Van Buren.
But in very good order both these pair, as Charlesworth is forward again to run Keogh back up towards his right hand, and the over comes to an end. In theory we've got another 23 scheduled, 4 were chalked off for that rain delay. 23 more to come. 160 for 6, Van Buren 53, Charlesworth 63. A tremendous stand.
It is tremendous stand. 23 overs remaining. Well, there's a grey cloud coming along. I think we'll probably finish about 20 to 6. I don't think we'll get through 23 overs. That would be pushing it a fair bit. But it's going to be Proctor coming in from the Bristol River end, bowling to the right-handed Van Buren, who's 53 runs, of very valuable runs to his name, as Proctor bowls to him and lets it go outside the off stump. So they are 7 runs shy of 100 partnership, which is palpably the biggest partnership of the innings for Gloucestershire. They came together a teetering 67 for 6, and well, the scoreboard didn't move yesterday. There was no play at all. The pitch has certainly flattened out. It always does at Bristol, actually. As you said, Alex, there's not a blade of grass to be seen on the wicket as Proctor bowls to Van Buren, who drives handsomely, and it beats Levy, and it's going to be Emilio Gay fields well. They come back for a very quick second. They've got to scurry a little bit, but Charlesworth beats the throw. 2 more to Van Buren, 162 for 6. Now, if they can get that 200, I mean, they've got 3 batsmen to come, of course. David Payne's a decent number 9. They should, well, they're within sight of it, certainly, but now the cloud is coming in. It's suddenly become quite dark out there, but they're carrying on. Proctor bowls to Van Buren, and Van Buren dabs it down just behind square, and third man runs into field, and they get another single.
And it's becoming a good lick as well between this pair.
They are. Well, I think their eyes are in, aren't they? And if your eye's in, you've got to take advantage of it. That's what I always think.
Certainly Van Buren seems to be a naturally fairly
Very good
quick
player.
scoring player anyway.
Well, he is. He's a very good player, actually. And he's been all over the batting order for Gloucestershire. I mean, he normally comes in 4-5. Got a big 100 down at Kent a couple of seasons ago. He's a local lad. He's qualified to play for England because his wife's British. He works at the University of Bath, I think. And that's left by Charlesworth outside the off stump.
Very nice, Bath University. Sports facilities there, tremendous.
Well, that's Bath Spa University, isn't it? That's where you get all the sports facilities, isn't it?
No, that's University of Bath.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been there? I've been there many times.
Yeah, played hockey there a few times.
Did you? You played hockey. Let's put you in the posh limit as well.
You're wearing a pair of red trousers today, Bob, so there's...
Yeah, the only ones I got, actually. You're right, actually. I'm affecting to be posh. As Proctor bowls, that's full, and it's driven on the full, but field on the bounce by Proctor. 163 for 6. And what's wrong with red trousers?
Well, they're a bit posh, aren't they, according to you?
Well, they are posh, yes, I told you. Well, I live in Berkeley, which is a very posh place.
Well, there you are.
Castle. Big castle there at Berkeley Castle. Yeah. Something bad happened there. Proctor bowls again and defended by Charlesworth, and he plays it fielded by Bresswell at mid-on. You know what happened to Berkeley Castle, don't you?
Beheadings,
No, worse than that. No.
hung, drawn and quartered.
Well, no, worse than that. No, Edward II.
Oh, was he the chap who was
Yes, he
murdered
was.
with a
Yes.
red-hot poker?
Yes,
Sorry, executed with a red-hot poker,
exactly, yes.
wasn't he? Yeah, that was inserted somewhere rather painful.
Yes, it was.
I thought it was done in Gloucester.
No, that was Berkeley Castle. And they do say you can hear his
Isn't there
screams at night.
Isn't there a memorial to Edward II in Gloucester?
Well, I don't know about
Because I've heard that story in Gloucester.
Well, it's wrong, I can tell you. It's Berkeley Castle. The dungeon's still there. The body's gone, of course.
Should hope it has. 163 for 6, and Keogh from the far end is right arm over to Van Buren, who's back and cutting a ball that's perhaps a little too close to him to do so.
Yeah, trying to cut it.
Plays down to mid-off though. Berg is there, and there is no run. Played very, very fluent innings here, Graham Van Buren.
Yeah, certainly.
Small right-hander, short sleeve shirt, waits for Keogh and comes forward, opening the blade just to the left-hand side of Proctor in at short extra cover there, and there's no run once more. Alex Wakely, the solitary slips fieldsman, scratching away at his mark, settles down as Keogh goes in again, very full. Van Buren forward, thickish inside edge, playing down towards Hutton at short mid-wicket for no run. 163 for 6. Under again, skies which are beginning to darken here at Bristol. And flashes of sunshine throughout the day. As Keogh bowls again. Little straighter this time, and Van Buren dabs into square leg, where there possibly could have been a single.
Yeah, Charles was sending back, didn't he?
It did, yeah. There's been a bit of toing and froing between this pair so far. And Bracewell coming to his left-hand side, had to run around his throwing arm, but sensible to err on the side of caution given what's happened before. Keogh again flatter, and this time turned straight to Bracewell at backward square leg, and there's no run.
Yeah, rather wasted then, actually. Could have got a bit of angle to it, but they're ticking along quite nicely, these two. No need to worry.
Yeah, tremendous progress. Stand of 96 for the 7th wicket so far, as Keogh is in again and Van Buren is driving, but straight out to mid-on. Then Sanderson just goes to his right-hand side a couple of yards to collect, and the over comes to an end. 163 for 6. Van Buren going well, 56. Ben Charlesworth looking very competent indeed. He is on 63, so 37 required for the batting point. That, regardless of what happens up at Durham, keeps promotion in Gloucestershire's own hands.
Well, it is going to be an important batting point. I mean, you never know what's going to happen at Chesterley Street tomorrow. I don't think a finish is anywhere likely to happen. However, you've just got to keep as many points as you can, and if they can get a batting bonus point, or even two, well, happy days, as Proctor comes in to bowl to Charlesworth, who's on 63, and lets it go outside the off stump lavishly.
News from Taunton, play abandoned for the day down there.
Oh dear.
So no play at all on day 3 in the title decider between Somerset and Essex. So it pretty much guarantees the title to Essex, because they'd have to lose 20 wickets in a single day there to lose the title.
Well, I tell you what, Somerset have got themselves to blame because they had a disastrous game against Hampshire last week.
They did.
As Proctor comes in and bowls to Charlesworth, and Charlesworth defends into the covers and doesn't take a run. No, Somerset, I'm afraid, much as I like Somerset, they're my second favourite county apart from Gloucestershire, in fact. Because I like the West Country, you see.
Well, quite. We stick together in these parts, don't we, Bob?
Yeah, we do indeed. Yeah. Oh, we do. Yes, you're from Bristol, I know as well. As Proctor comes in again and bowls to Charlesworth, and Charlesworth defends. And it's a straight drive, but it's fielded and there's no run. Now I know you're Northants, obviously you're a Northants man, but I think Gloucestershire. No, but all right, you support Gloucestershire, don't you? Really, in your heart of hearts, don't you?
They're my home county.
Yes, well that's right. Yeah, well I could take that as read then. You must support them.
Correct.
You do. Yeah, I know.
I was a member in my younger days here.
I know. I remember you remember. That's a lovely. Well, that was on the bounce and fielded by Proctor. I remember you being around. You did your own little radio station, didn't you?
Did, yeah, back in the day, before the BBC did all the championship matches.
Yeah, what was it called? Radio something? It had a name, didn't it? It had a name? It had a name? It had a name?
It did have a name.
What was it?
It was just called Glos Cricket Radio.
Oh, right, okay. Proctor bowls again, and that's left by Charles outside the off stump.
Did exactly what it said on the tin.
Yeah? You were the only commentator, weren't you?
Sometimes I was, yeah.
Right.
Sometimes we had guests.
Yes, I remember. Oh, it worked very well, actually, I think. Yes, but then it's usurped by the BBC doing every... I think it's a good service, the BBC running.
Tremendous.
Yes, and it is a great service because people are listening to us. I bet people in, all over the world. Michael Klinger's probably listening down in Perth. He said he'd listen. Proctor bowls again, and that's defended by Charlesworth. The runs have dried up a little bit for Gloucestershire in these 3 or 4 overs preceding this. 163 for 6. Van Buren on 56 and Charlesworth on 63.
Now, Di Davis has tweeted to say, talk elsewhere that Glamorgan will approach Durham to set up a one-innings per side match at the Riverside.
Oh, no.
That's not my strong point, but if that happens, will Northants be promoted regardless?
Well, they will be, but I don't think the ECB would like that, actually. But there's nothing they can do to stop it, really.
Well, no, I suppose nothing official to stop it happening. There could be retrospective action, perhaps, as Keogh here is bowling to Van Buren, and he's driving just wide of mid-off. Picks up a single, goes to 57, 164 for 6. The Gloucesters here at Bristol, when the sun is poked through again. The skies, certainly to the west, are looking
well, if
much more
that
pleasant.
is, I think Gloucestershire would like a massive thunderstorm to deposit everything on Chesterley Street about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. That would help.
Key around the wicket, and Charlesworth is driving down towards Hutton at short extra cover, and there is no run. Well, if that were to happen, then Glamorgan would sacrifice their first innings, so no batting bonus points at all.
Well, they couldn't get the full worth then.
Keogh's in again, left outside the off stump, flat delivery.
Well, that would mean 19 points would be up for grabs.
Well, no, because they're only 8 down, so they're only got they can only get 18 points.
Ooh.
So yeah, that would indeed mean that Northants were absolutely fine if that did occur. As in steps Keogh once again, and pushed away from a length by Charlesworth, waiting for it and punching away out to Gay on the cover fence to our left-hand side for a single. Charlesworth goes to 64, 165 for 6. So assuming that Glamorgan got 24 points, Gloucestershire needed 9 points at the start of the week. So if Glamorgan were only to get 18 points, that would mean that Gloucestershire need just 3.
Yes.
So whatever happens here, these two sides will be promoted as Van Buren pushes away into the covers for no run. So the only hope for Glamorgan is that somehow Northants can win this game, and that isn't going to happen at all, because there's no chance of a result being set up here tomorrow, because a draw is absolutely fine for Northants as well.
Correct.
As Keogh goes in, and Van Buren is pushing back to bowls the bowler's right hand, and there's no run to end the over. 165 4-6, and a draw here absolutely fine for Northants as well to claim second place in the table.
Well, I think Northants deserved to be second place. I mean, Gloucestershire didn't. Well, they started the season, everyone thought they were going to go. In fact, that one poll said they were going to be bottom of Division 2. And there they are in third place, being the big boys. But, well, they could be dancing in the streets of Cheltenham, Gloucester, Morton and Marsh tomorrow. However, it's a day of rain is forecast, which will be okay, actually. The draw would be fine. As long as it rains at Chester this street. It always rains out there, doesn't it? No play at all today, as Proctor comes in and bowls to Charlesworth, and he defends, but gets a run, in fact, rather fortuitously. It goes through to the field on the sweep on the cover boundary. One more to him. He's on to 65. 167 for 6. No, 166 for 6. Have you enjoyed yourself down here at Bristol? You always do, don't you?
Of course.
Yeah, tremendous fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll get Izzy Duncan on in a minute, shall we? Izzy Westby's not available. He's sticking a finger up. That's not very nice. As Proctor comes in. And bowls to Van Buren, who's happily on 57. And, he played a miss at that one. He went through to Rossington low down.
As we welcome back listeners on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra, hello to you with myself, Alex Winter, and Bob Hunt with you at Bristol.
Dear. Hello everyone. Yes, it's just to give you an update then, if you're listening on BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra, it's a tremendous partnership, the 7th wicket between Van Buren and Charlesworth. They are 99. As Van Buren, no, he couldn't get the 100th, but they came together when the score was 67 for 6, and Gloucestershire were in a heap of trouble. But they put on 100, they put on 99 for the 7th wicket. And batting bonus points could become important. They got 34 runs to get another batting bonus point, but they look very settled. In fact, the sun is out, the sky's blue. Not a cloud to spoil the view as Proctor comes in over the wicket. Bowls to Van Buren, and Van Buren defends. Charlesworth leaves his crease and is sent hurriedly back from Van Buren. Charlesworth is very keen to get the runs from the non-striker's end. I always find he's a very, very talented cricketer. That's the thing about Gloucester. They've got a lot of young, talented. Charlesworth, Higgins, all very good with the bat. Benny Howell, who's unfortunately injured and won't play again this season. Proctor bowls again to Van Buren, who gets that 100th run. That's a euphoric round of applause from the Gloucestershire faithful who have stayed here all day. And you can hear the round of applause. It's a very well-deserved round of applause. The members just in front of us and a sprinkling of paying customers at the far end in the front of the flats, and there's people on the flats coming from work, take their tie off, have a cup of tea, a glass of wine, and watching the cricket, which is what they've got those flats for, in fact, isn't it? That's why.
Very pleasant spot over there, yeah.
To the left-handed Charlesworth, 167 for 6. And Charlesworth lets it go outside the stump, and that is the end of the 18 overs remaining of the day. They might possibly get them in, Alex. Do you think?
We would need an hour and a bit.
Yeah.
So just past 6 o'clock, not too late. The light may indeed hold.
Yeah. Well, the clouds seem to be missing us. There's a big dirty grey one over North Bristol. I'd imagine over perhaps Chepstow's getting a bit of a hammering on the far side of the River Severn. And everything's hunky-dory here, isn't it? For Gloucestershire.
Yep, fine partnership there. It's just easing any lingering tension from the first morning.
And that was a worrying first morning.
So Keogh to continue from the far end, bowling right arm over to Van Buren, the right clipping away to short mid-wicket. Hutton is there in his long sleeve shirt and slip over, and there's no run. Slip in place here for Keogh, who had a tremendous LBW appeal against Charlesworth turn down earlier on. But here bowling to Graham Van Buren, who's driving back to the bowler this time. There's no run. Deep point, deep square back to our right and left. And everybody else saving the single. Backward square leg, mid-wicket, short mid-wicket as well. Mid-off, mid-on. And extra cover also in quite tight as Keogh bowls quite flat, and Van Buren back to cut it away, but straight to extra cover for no run.
Interesting, those two mid-wickets, they're very close together, aren't they, on that one, obviously on the onside. Just there for the push, isn't it, the pushing drive.
Keogh steps in again, bowls a quick flat delivery, and Van Buren is back to cover it away for 4 runs, out to the cover fence to our right-hand side. Keogh has played around with his lengths and his trajectory a few times during his spell. That was a bit of a long hop, and Van Buren takes advantage. He now has 62, 171 for 6.
He's almost caught him up. 62 to Van Buren, 65 for Charlesworth.
He's been tremendously fluent, Van Buren.
Yes. Anything outside the off stump, loves it. Short stature, so great cutter.
Looked in very good order.
Very pleasant as well.
Keogh into him again, and he's back to work this straighter ball through square leg for a single. An easy run taken across the square out to Emilio Gay, who's to our left, out towards the car park. 1 or 2 cars over there.
1 or 2? It's about 100.
If there's 100 cars there, I'll give you the money myself.
There's about 60. There's only 1 or 2.
172 for 6. Van Buren is 63. Charlesworth is 65, and he's facing Keogh round the wicket. Letting one go. Could have been too far away from the off stump. Skithered on a little. Keogh with his head to the sky as he turns away and takes his cap from umpire David Milnes. End of the 6. So 28 more runs for Gloucestershire to raise a batting point and to keep their fate in their own hands regardless of what happens elsewhere. But it does look as if nothing is going to stop Gloucestershire and Northamptonshire now being promoted tomorrow afternoon.
Well, unless there's a bit of connivances up at Chester this street, but well, it happens, of course. Proctor comes in to bowl to Van Buren, is on 63 and pulls away, and that's going to go for a single. He didn't quite get the meat of it, and he leaps out the way as the throw is returned. He was on to 64, so he's just 1 behind Charlesworth now. Van Buren has batted beautifully, I would think, beautifully. He's was on 5 when he and Charlesworth was on 35 when they began this session. Just 1 alarm when Proctor thought he had an LBW, but driven. Oh, that was a strange shot from Charlesworth. He just poked it in the air and it just went over the bowler's head. That was a full shot from Charlesworth, a rarity. And Proctor leapt, but he just went over his head fortuitously, as Charlesworth would say. 173 for 6. Now, if they can stay and get 2 batting bonus points, or even 300, which is unlikely, they'd be safe. They'd be safe. Perfectly safe. Proctor bowls again, driven again. Mind you, of course, they've got to get bowled at Northampton, so they can get 3 bowling bonus points, can't they?
In theory, yes.
Yeah. It's all sorted then. So, Gloucestershire, you can all relax, Gloucestershire fans. There'll be in Division 1 next season, you mark my words. Well, they will be.
That's a safe bet now,
It is a safe bet, a very safe bet. I mean, luckily the weather's intervened. It's a pity because we would have had a good game if the weather had been kind. Proctor bowls again to Charlesworth and plays it defensively from behind his crease.
Well, not necessarily. It's a pretty flat wicket.
Well, I mean, they do. Well, obviously here, the Gloucestershire coaching staff will say, look, prepare the flattest, most benign wicket you can possibly imagine. And they have done that. There's not a blade of grass to be seen on it, is there? Not 1 blade of grass at all. Every night they cut it to within its skinhead length. But that's fair enough, fair enough. As Proctor bowls again to Charlesworth, and Charlesworth defends behind his crease. And nothing added to the score. 173 for 6. I mean, you look at the tracks around it, it's quite grassy, but they have really shorn it, haven't they? Really shorn it. It's to the right-hand side, it's been the furthest track they've used this season, in fact. It's a short boundary to that. The left hand is Charlesworth's side. It's a big boundary on the left-hand side, but Proctor bowls again, and Charlesworth drives again. Levy does the fielding, no run. He's displaying a lovely drive, is Charlesworth. End of the over, 173 for 6. Van Buren on 64, Charlesworth on 65. Over 8 minus +1. That's no problem at all. Any cricket elsewhere?
Very good with the over 8 are Northamptonshire. Yep, Bits and bobs still going on. Lords, Derbyshire 164 for 4, replying to Middlesex 260 there. Lancashire, good comeback this, because they were in trouble. They're still in trouble in a way, but they're now just 8 runs behind Leicestershire at Grace Road. Leicestershire ball up for 155, Lancashire 147 for 7 in reply. As Keogh resumes with his off breaks from the Ashley Down Road end across from us. Stepping away from the flats. Goes into Van Buren, very full, and whipped away down the ground. It's a tremendous shot for 4 runs. Beautiful piece of timing. Good stride in, and he's whipped it away past the bowler and out towards the flats for 4 runs. So Van Buren goes to 68, 177 for 6.
He's overtaken Charles off that shot.
Which in jolly good order indeed. Also playing at the Oval, where Notts 39 for 1.
Already relegated Notts.
Correct. I've got work to do to reply to Surrey's 402 for 6 declared.
Well, that's probably drifting to a draw as well.
Keogh in again, and Van Buren just covering up across his off stump and playing back up the wicket once again. Been a bit expensive here. Keogh into his 9th over. Oh, possibly not actually. Over a couple of boundaries in the last few overs. 3 maidens, 0 for 24 so far. Bowls again, and Van Buren is back to work it around the corner. Again, there was that ball dropped into square leg, tempting them for a run that Van Buren was far keener for than Charlesworth, who sent him back. Hutton now limbering up at short mid-wicket. Maybe a change of foot at the pavilion end as Keogh steps in again past umpire Milnes. And Van Buren is back to cut, chopping it away out into the deep to our right hand side. Curran is running around the point fence to his left with those banks of bluey grey chairs behind him, and they pick up a single. Van Buren goes to 69, 178 for 6.
Great comeback by Gloucestershire.
Second 50 of the season here for Van Buren, and his highest score of the year now as well with this unbeaten 69. Charlesworth is closing in on his career best. 3rd time past 50 in first class cricket for him here today, and he faces Keogh playing forward, pushing to short extra cover.
What is his highest score? 80 something, isn't it?
77.
Yes, I remember that.
It's 77 last year against Middlesex.
Yeah.
Keogh 1-2 steps and a couple of skips into the wicket he goes, and Charlesworth is back to play out towards mid-off. Sanderson is there. Sanderson, who on the first morning went to 60 wickets for the year, and the over comes to an end. 15 more scheduled on this 3rd day's play.
Shall we get Isabel Duncan in?
If you like.
Well, I mean, she's sitting there doing nothing actually. Is she all right? She's giving a little girly wave.
178.
After this over, you can come in, Isabel.
178 for 6, and it will be Hutton to return at the pavilion end.
All right, she's just come back from playing real tennis. Last time she was here, she went to play polo. You played polo at that place in Wootton Under Edge, do you remember? You did.
I think I've been there. Is that near Gatcombe Park?
No, there's some Americans built a big house. He's got a polo pitch in it. And of course, Isabel Duncan went to play polo there. Very posh, very posh. Very nice. So brought me a cup of coffee, which is very pleasant of her. Change of bowling. It's going to be Hutton bowls again. And that was a bit of a diff and a dab from Van Buren. He didn't know quite what to do with that shot. Went through to the keeper. 2 mines, possibly even 3 mines. 178 for 6. And now the clouds are coming in. It's terrifically playable, but there's a bit of a dark bank of cloud coming in from our right-hand side here at Bristol. But it won't interfere with play too much. You wouldn't think. Hutton bowls to Van Buren. Van Buren drives pleasantly, but straight to the fielder, who does well to prevent the run. You can't see what it is because the Northants, I mean, it's a bit annoying. They're wearing their jumpers and they're not showing their numbers on the back of their jumpers. It's a bit naughty, that, isn't it? Gloucestershire Gloucestershire have their numbers on the back of their jumpers.
Yeah, but the sweaters aren't as nice, are they?
Well, you're doing some news stuff in a minute. Hutton bowls to Van Buren, defends. Do you want to? You're doing a sports bulletin, are you?
You've got a minute.
Have I? A minute? Ooh, right, okay. A minute. Right. Hopefully finish this over in a minute. No. Corby Urgent Care Centre. Everything. Right. Hutton comes in again and bowls to Van Buren, who's on 69. Not a bad position to be in, and he defends. Levy does the fielding.
And we do have the FM update, so bear with. Hopefully. 17846 Gloucestershire are, so no further progress for Northamptonshire, who had picked up 2 of the 4 points they needed to secure promotion on the first morning. We eventually got back underway this afternoon at 3 o'clock. We did have a brief shower at 4, but thankfully it was only brief, and the players were back out 15 minutes later. So still 15 overs to go in the day, and Northampton's probing away to try and pick up this final bowling bonus point. But with the way that this game is going, a draw more than good enough for Northamptonshire, particularly with the situation with Glamorgan, the only side who can catch both Northants and Gloucestershire. Their game up at Durham, play abandoned for the day in the third day of that match, and only in the first innings as well, so difficult to see how Glamorgan can turn that into the big victory they need to try and overhaul either side here at Bristol. But with a boundary to Graham Van Buren, Gloucestershire move on to 182 for 6. Back with you online and on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra, and Hutton dragging one short and wide there and getting smashed away by Van Buren to the point fence to our left hand side out towards the car park. So Van Buren is on to 73, Charlesworth is with him on 65. It's 182 for 6 with 14 overs to go in the day. The skies are darkening a little again, the umpire up in the heavens. And are they just coming in here to take a light meter reading? Umpire Mike Burns was about to retreat to his position at square leg, but is now approaching the striker's end stumps, and I think is feeling for his light meter. As Izzy Duncan joins us again. Hello.
Yes, good afternoon. What a shame if that's the case. It is gloomy, you're right, and there's a sort of feeling of rain in the air. It's a little bit damp out there. Perhaps a reading, or are they studying the ball? I'm not sure. There's a bit of a mother's meeting going on anyway.
Yeah, definitely a check on the light meter by Mike Burns, but has decided we're okay for the time being. So with Keogh bowling, shouldn't take too long to get these overs in, actually 14 more of them scheduled. So at least we have had a little period of cricket at the back end of the third day for everybody to just drink in, really, at the back end of the season. It's not the time of year when you want to lose time to the weather.
Here he is, Rob Keogh. Coming in with his twirlers. He's coming around the wicket and bowling. And there's a shout here for caught behind, but the umpire completely disinterested. 18246. It's the left-hander Charlesworth there, just having a play and a miss. A bit of a waft outside of the off stump. As Rob Keogh continues, he's got a few overs to his 10th over now. 0 for 25. Unlucky not to pick up a wicket yet. Up onto his toes, past the umpire and bowls. And the left-hander Charlesworth comes forward there, right forward, almost doing the splits and smothering the ball. So we have one orthodox slip in place, a backward point, and a staggered field on that offside. A shortish extra cover, a regular extra cover. As once again Keogh is in and bowls, and Charlesworth comes forward and just pushes the ball back along the carpet to the bowler for no run. Charlesworth on 65. I heard you talking about his previous highest score of 77 not out. He's not too far away from that. Pretty flawless innings really from the youngster as Keogh bowls again, and there's going to be a run here as the ball is just clipped into the leg side with the spin, just turned off the toe end of the bat there from Charlesworth, and they skip through for 1. The total now 184 for 2, and Charlesworth goes on to 66 as Keogh continues from that Ashley Down Road end with the smart flats, a lot of balconies and glass there. Not too many people out today. 1 or 2 people on the balcony. Keogh bowls. It's a nice looking drive. That's punched out towards mid-on. Mid-on is right on the boundary. And they go through for an easy one. Van Buren picks up another single. He goes on to 74 now. 184 for 6. Charlesworth facing. One slip in place. Mid-on has come back into the... just to cut off the single there. Mid-on and mid-off. There's a deep point and deep square leg. Keogh. Once more up to the crease and bowls, and that's defended there by Charlesworth. Puts up big blockage there from Charlesworth. End of another over, 184 for 6. We've had 60 overs, and this partnership now worth 117 runs between these two. So bumbling along nicely, Van Buren and Charlesworth. After the debacle of day one, by lunch they were 80 for 6. But this wicket looking particularly friendly and flat.
Yeah, on that first day they lost Miles Hammond for 1, James Bracey for 8, Gareth Roderick for 2, Chris Dent for 15, George Hankins for 4, and then Ryan Higgins for 1. And at 67 for 6 we're in all sorts, but this pair have restored order as Hutton goes away from the pavilion, bowls to Graham Van Buren, who's forward and pushing out to Levy at short mid-wicket, comes to his left-hand side to collect, and there is no run. Just one slip in place here, third man, point. Long leg and square leg are all back, and 4 men saving a single. Extra cover mid-wicket, mid-off and mid-on.
Yes, we're very lucky to have some cricket today, aren't we? Considering what's happening around the country.
And short sleeve shirt untucked, goes up past umpire Burns, outside the off stump, and not for the first time. Van Buren is having a little feel for one. He's been very aggressive outside that off stump so far, with good success. But here, just about keeps his hands inside the line. The ball goes through to Rossington. A gentleman has emerged on the very top tier of the flats across from us. Owner of a penthouse suite, apparently. Leaning out across his balcony.
Vast balcony, goodness
Got
me.
a tremendous view right down the barrel up there. Sutton goes away from us again, and in this crease, Van Buren is defending down towards Keogh at mid-on, and there's no run.
Yes, I've got a cricket nutty friend who owns one of these flats, and unfortunately he's not here. I was hoping to get invited up for the odd gin and tonic later on, but he's not here.
Nice.
He was worried about the weather, of course, and didn't want to make the journey. And he's also a Sussex fan. He's there quite a bit.
Yeah, very smart, those flats. And a tremendous view if you're pitch facing, obviously. As in goes Hutton again, full of length and driven back towards the bowler, firmly by Van Buren. Hutton takes the ball and feigns to throw at the strikers and stumps and sends Van Buren scurrying out towards point. And there's no run again, 184 for 6. But once again, the sky is just darkening slightly. There are flashes of blue up in the distance, and hopefully we are set fair for the next 40 minutes or so to get these 13 overs in. Hutton past the stumps again, quite a straight line, length delivery, and just worked away by Van Buren out to Levy. This comes to his right hand side from a shortish mid-wicket position, collects, returns to Rossington, and then stuffs his hands back in his pockets. A bit cooler than the South African Cape here today.
Yes, there was no play yesterday, and I think most of the problem really was to our left, where it got a little bit muddy and unsure footing really for the fielders there. That's why we couldn't play yesterday. That's dried out now.
Hutton once again off stump line. Van Buren back and across to defend, just dabbing one down out towards mid-wicket once again, and the over comes to an end. So tidy stuff for Hutton on return. Wicketless so far in this match, but enjoyed another very good season. Brett Hutton was missed in the early part of the campaign, had an ankle problem, but since coming back has picked up 35 wickets at 18.8 in his 9 matches, which is a shade better than Sanderson's haul, but Sanderson, tremendous. Before this game, 58 wickets at 19.75.
Right, well, it's going to be Keogh will continue. He's owning this end at the moment, the Ashley Down Road end. He's got a bit of towel hanging out of his trousers. It's a bit damp out there, needing to polish the ball vigorously. 184 for 6. Keogh up to the crease and bowls, and really almost backs onto his stumps there. Charlesworth, he backs away from that, but manages to keep it out, plays it very late. As Keogh stalks back to his mark. There's still a deep point and a deep square leg, an orthodox slip. Backward point, as once more Keogh is in and bowls, and that's just played under the eyes of Charlesworth, who gently pushes that into the offside. Charlesworth on 66, not too far away from his all-time highest score in first-class cricket of 77 not out, the teenager, only 18 years old. As Keogh coming around the wicket, bowls, and that is driven quite nicely, but straight along the ground to mid-off for no run. Nice staggered field on that offside. There's mid-off and mid-on, both on the single there. Mid-wicket on the single as well. As Keogh again twirls in and bowls, and that's defended. A good positive step forward there from Charlesworth. Puts the ball out of its misery. In a slight gloom this evening, but he managed to play from only a slight interruption from 3 o'clock. Keogh bowls, comes forward once more, Charlesworth. Is there an announcement of, is there going to be any tea, or will they just be playing on really through this session? Have we had tea already?
Yeah, tea was taken before we got underway at 3. So
That's
a
when I was
long
on the real
old
tennis
session,
court at that point.
48 overs.
Once more, Keogh. Here he is onto his tippy toes and bowls, and there's a nice looking drive off the back foot, just finding the fielders at the moment, Charlesworth, and that's fielded by Levy, with a barrel-chested Levy with a floppy sun hat on for no run, 184 for 6. That was a very tidy maiden, joining the dots there for Rob Keogh, who's bowled 11 overs, 0 for 27. Tidy bowling from him, economy of 2.7. Holding up that end well, Rob Keogh.
Yes, done okay so far, Keogh. Had that mighty LBW shout against Charlesworth a while ago that spun and appeared to hit Charlesworth on the back pad, but maybe was a bit too high. Hudson it is, turning away from the pavilion, going in to Van Buren, the right-hander, who slashes away backward of point. Gay is coming around the boundary. Get just a single. So Van Buren goes on to 75 now, 185 for 6, and the batting point just 15 runs away for the Gloucesters. But for the moment, this pair very, very secure indeed. Gloucestershire would love to have a few more hours batting tomorrow and work their way up towards 300 and ensure there's no drama at all in terms of being caught by Glamorgan. Hutton now is round the wicket to the left-handed Charlesworth with a slip in place, bowls a bumper here. The Charlesworth sways inside the line off, and Rossington jumps up to take it just above his head. Umpires glance at each other but decide that was just about okay as a chap in a orange sweater comes around the ground to our right. It's been a day for one layer really, relatively warm, but perhaps one layer over the shoulders.
When the sun's out it's nice and warm. Sun's in at the moment.
185 for 6. Hutton's on his way again. Bowling a length delivery, which Charlesworth is back to, playing back up towards the bowler for no run. I was thrown into a false sense of security last Friday when I made my way down here. I guess it was glorious weather, wasn't it? It was sort of pushing mid-20s last Friday. Beautifully sunny. Had the shorts on. Came out the house without a coat, without a sweater.
Oh yeah, on Friday and Saturday. Saturday was beautiful. Last day of summer, I think, last Saturday.
Hutton is in again, bowling another bumper. This time doesn't get it quite as high as Hutton was perhaps hoping for, and Charlesworth on top of this, around chest height to pull away, out to Gay to my left at deep square, picks up a single, goes to 67, 186 for 6. But thankfully I did have an old waterproof in my computer bag, so I was saved.
Oh, I see. So you've come down with not many clothes.
Yes, quite. Yeah.
Right. Are you wearing the same shirt for several days?
No. Well, I was fine. One layer wise.
Checking your hygiene.
One layer wise. Coming from the woman who hasn't showered since playing tennis.
Yeah, absolutely.
As Hutton goes and bowls another bumper and pulled away to long leg by Van Buren. Wheeled around. Didn't appear to be in too much control. Was rather hurried, but plays out towards the flats for another single. Goes to 76. Van Buren. 187 for 6. Yeah, in terms of normal clothing, I was packed up, well stocked.
Clean pants and that sort of thing.
Indeed, yeah.
Good to hear.
Just didn't bring a sweater. Or my coat that I was planning on putting in. Hutton is in again to Charlesworth, and Charlesworth is pulling in front of mid-wicket and gets runs here. Not quite as well timed as it first appeared. Proctor was after it from mid-on. Retreats down to our left-hand side, and they come back for a comfortable second run. Was there a bit too soon that time, Ben Charlesworth, with that pull stroke, but he gets 2 runs, and he goes to 69 now. 189 for 6 are the Gloucesters, with 10 overs to go in the day, Elsewhere, Lancashire 162 for 8, replying to Leicestershire's 155 at Grace Road, so they've got a little lead there. Have the Red Rose, trying to complete an unbeaten season for the first time since the mid-70s. Derbyshire 183 for 4, so getting into a good spot, but they still trail Middlesex by 260, 50 there for the keeper Harvey Hussain. And Notts 52 for 1, replying to Surrey's 402 for 6 declared at the Oval.
Rob Keogh once again. Here he is. They're keeping him on. Every faith in Rob Keogh here. He's going to be bowling to Van Buren. Van Buren on 75. It's a mighty partnership between these two, worth 122. Van Buren and Charlesworth. There's just a bit of fiddling with equipment out there at the moment. It's Gay who's putting some shin pads on. He's going to put the helmet on as well. I imagine he's probably either going to go into the leg slip position or possibly short leg. Going to be a bit more aggressive with their field placing here. Oh no, hang on. He's taken the helmet off and he's going to backward point. He's got the shin pads on though, perhaps ready in waiting. There's still a slip in place. It's an orthodox slip. So we'll wait and see where Gay goes. At the moment, he's actually at square leg. Keogh, here he is, right arm over. Bowling to Van Buren, who goes away and slashes and manages to get a thick bottom edge. And he's lucky, in fact, that he didn't play on there. So the ball just spills out behind him towards square leg, and there is no run. 189 for 6. As these two battle on out there on a benign pitch. Doesn't have a blade of grass on it. It's been given a grade 1 haircut, that pitch. Almost a skinhead. As Keogh's in and bowls. A big shout here for LBW, imploring, almost going down on his knees. And in fact, it's probably going to go for extras. I think they're going to go back for 2 runs. We'll see what the umpire signals here as the ball is winged back in. Yes, it's leg byes. So we can get any bat on it. We know that much, according to the umpires. Another big shout from Rob Keogh. I think he felt a little bit hard done by from that previous shout that he had against Charlesworth, but this time it was Van Buren who has stolen 2 runs there. 191 for 6. And more to the extras column. Extras column now worth 15 in this 65th over.
Thought he was probably just outside the line.
You've seen a little replay. As again, Keogh, here he is. He's up to the crease and bowls to Van Buren, who attempts to drive that, doesn't time it, half-heartedly hits that.
Yeah, that's what Keogh should be bowling more of, really, those more flighted deliveries. He just fails to bowl enough stock balls to really tidy an end up in first-class cricket, really.
3 men on the boundary here. Keogh bowls, and that is cut away. Saw that nice and early, Van Buren. It's cut away in front of point. There's a man out there on the ropes. Ball is winged back in. It's a long on there for Van Buren. Long on's coming in back on the single now for Charlesworth. But point, deep cover point, and deep square leg will remain out on the ropes. Right, we have a silly point in place. That's Gay. That's why he wanted to put his his shin pads on. As once more Keogh bowls. Oh, and that's beaten the outside edge there. That's gripped and turned, and Charlesworth has a bit of a fence outside of off stump and doesn't manage to make contact, but getting a little bit more turn, I feel, at the moment, Keogh. And finding some rough here probably as well as he bowls to the left-hander. 192 for 6. Charlesworth on 69. Keogh once again bounces in and bowls and comes forward there and makes sure of it this time. Gets down on one knee to defend that. It's almost as if he's being knighted, Charlesworth, and keeps the ball well out. That's the end of another Rob Keogh over. He's bowled 12 overs. 0 for 27. So 192 for 6 here after 65 overs. And Buren on 77.
Are you good with dogs?
What's that?
Are you good with dogs?
I do have it. I have a rescue dog who's going to be on the show, Dogs Behaving Badly. Just giving her a plug here. Had an interview with him yesterday.
Do you know what this dog is down beneath us? It's down to our left-hand side.
Oh, that's a Labrador.
A Labrador.
It's a lovely blonde lab. And it's brought its lunch with it. It's got its bowl, its lunch and water over there. It's very dog-friendly ground. Like dogs in the West Country.
Looks very nice, that little dog.
No, it's very well behaved. Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's off the lead. It's just lying there, doing what it's. My dog wouldn't do that. It'd be all over the place. It'd be biting people.
Here is Gareth Berg replacing Hutton at the pavilion end, going into Van Buren, the right-hander, who's back and playing away through point and picking up a single to our left-hand side. Bracewell is now in the deep towards the car park. Van Buren goes to 78, 193 for 6.
A great partnership now with 126. Not much action on the Twitter sphere. Do get in touch. I'm Isabel Duncan at Fine Glance. We have at Bob Hunt Sport and at _Alex Winter. Let us know your moans and groans, views and news.
193 for 6, and Berg into the left-handed Charlesworth. Still a slip in place, and this is too straight, and worked away down to the long leg by Charlesworth. Gentle applause from the members down beneath us as the ball runs away out towards the flats. Charlesworth goes on to 70 now. 194 for 6. The third time here that Charlesworth has entered the 70s in his first-class career. A couple of scores in the 70s for him last season. He's got a great chance here to go on and make a main first-class century, you'd think, as Van Buren cuts in front of point, and we'll get at least a couple of runs here. Chase for Bracewell around the boundary. Comes around to his right-hand side to collect. They come trotting back for 2. Poor ball really, dragged down wide of off stump, and to a small man, very good at pulling and cutting. It was meat and drink to Van Buren, who now has 80 to his name. 196 for 6 in the batting point. Just one hit away now for the Gloucesters. Any tension with the weather and with this partnership has been totally eased now. It will take a mighty, strange series of events to deny both these teams. A conversation between mid-on, mid-off and the bowler. But Berg is on his way again now in bright sunshine, and Van Buren drops the ball out backward of point. Just a single this time. Went through with the first run quickly, but Bracewell was smartly off the point fence to our left. And they got a gentle run. Takes Van Buren to 81, 197 for 6.
Now, Gareth Berg has played for Italy, hasn't he? I think
Correct.
I read somewhere. He's played in some T20. I'm not sure how that came about. He's got a bit of Italian blood in him.
He's on his way again. Bowls over the wicket to left-handed Charlesworth, who's trying to get forward here, pushing out to Richard Levy in extra cover. Just comes away to his right-hand side to collect in there. Still with his sun hat on, now quite appropriate, that sun hat, with the sun shining across Neville Road. It's set to be a nice end of the day, I think.
Yeah, I think we're jolly lucky here.
Yeah, pity only 8 overs are scheduled after this. And we're going to be done far sooner really than we'd imagined. 48 overs from 3 o'clock. Thought we'd need time after 6 o'clock, but not at the moment. As Berg is into Charlesworth again and bowls a horrendous bumper that loops over the batsman's head and bounces through to Rossington, and signalled no ball by umpire Mike Burns. And the locals are among that, down beneath us, roaring their approval in the row of benches down in front of us. 199 for 6.
Yes, I think the blonde bombshell that is Gareth Berg needs to straighten up his line a little bit here and switch on the radar.
Berg's on his way again, and Charlesworth is getting another back of a length ball outside the off stump, and that also bobbles through to the keeper. Concerning sign in a way, but not for Gloucestershire. They want to bat and bat and bat, see out this game, confirm their promotion to Division 1. 8 overs to go then, 199 for 6. Van Buren is 81 and Charlesworth is 70.
I think Gareth Berg just experimenting a little bit there with slower balls and bumper balls, and not much to lose really. We've been talking about Northants only needing 2 more points for utter security, but having a look up north, up at Durham, it's been a washout today, and the weather looks terrible, diabolical tomorrow, so I think they're feeling fairly secure, both of those teams out there at the moment, Northants and Gloucestershire. Keogh will continue with his marathon from the Ashley Down Road end. Here he is, and bowling to Van Buren, who comes forward, 12 on his shirt. Just defends that one. 199 for 6, on the cusp of that bonus point here. Gloucestershire hungry for bonus points, really needing 9 at the beginning of this match to feel utterly safe. Van Buren on 81. He's been galloping along. He's faced 135 deliveries, strike rate of 60. Orthodox slip in place here. He's got his shades on, Rob Keogh, as he bowls, and that's defended nicely there into the leg side. I'm assuming that he's actually sort of looking straight into the sun, Rob Keogh, at the moment. It's very bright out there. That's why he's put his shades on, looking like a right dude. 199 for 6. Van Buren facing once more, crouched. And slashes that one away, and it's fielded there by the bowler. Neat bit of fielding there by Keogh. Has a shy at the stumps as well, but Van Buren safely in his crease. No alarm bells. 199 for 5. As mid-on is deep, long on there. Has been over the last few overs to only to Van Buren though. Mid-off on the single. Deep point, deep square leg. Keogh with the shades. Bowls. And Buren, a big shout, but it's a large stride forward. Looks like from here, looks like he's outside the line and he's playing a shot as well. But we're not right behind the bowler, so it's difficult for us to tell. But it was certainly a big stride forward. He's a small man, he's a short man, Van Buren. And he got out there to smother the ball. 199 for 6, Keogh continues. Hop, skip and a jump up to the crease and bowls. Plenty of flight there, tempting the drive. It's a beautiful looking drive. Hit with aggression there. It's gone out towards deep extra cover. And he goes on to 85. The 200 is up. A roar of approval from the Gloucestershire fans down there beneath us in the pavilion. They're all on their feet, in fact. It's a standing ovation. The dog is wagging its tail. Everything is happening down there. People are going wild. I think we won the World Cup all over again. So first bonus point there for Gloucestershire. Dog still wagging its tail. Fantastic.
Tremendous cheers there.
Keogh. Here we go. Van Buren. Displays that gently into the onside for no run. 203 for 6 Gloucestershire. A milestone.
One of the 9 that Gloucestershire need to confirm their promotion. 5 will surely come through the draw tomorrow afternoon.
And it seemed so unlikely, didn't it, on day one when they were 80 for 6, but it's just this rather delicious partnership here between Van Buren, currently on 85, and Charlesworth, a teenager at the other end, on 70. Partnership worth 136 between these two.
Now Lancashire now 165 for 9 at Grace Road, and Callum Parkinson, playing against his brother Matt, has got his revenge because Matt picked up Callum in the first innings of the match, and now Callum has picked up Matt in the second innings of the match, so it's all square there between the brothers, and Lancashire have a slender advantage at Grace Road. 169 for 9 now, leading the Foxes by 14 runs. Derbyshire on the cusp of a batting point at Lords as well. 199 for 4 going well, replying to Middlesex's 260. As Berg sets off, coming round the wicket to Charlesworth, full of length, and Charlesworth left-hand over his forward, angling one through point for a single out to Curran in the deep, running away from the bank of bluey-grey seats on the City of Bristol College side of the ground to our right. 204 for 6, and Charlesworth is 71. The only other game going on is at the Oval, where Notts have made a solid start to replying to Surrey's 402 for 6 declared. 63 for 1 they are. Berg back over the wicket to the right-handed Van Buren, who's in his crease and playing out towards extra cover. Hutton's there and there is no run. No play today between Kent and Hampshire, Somerset and Essex, Yorkshire and Warwickshire, Durham and Glamorgan, and Sussex and Worcestershire. The rainy day across the UK.
Beautiful sunshine here. We are lucky bunnies here at Bristol, the county ground.
Berg on his way again, full of length, and Van Buren is driving, opening the blade and steering it away to deep cover to our left-hand side, where Bracewell is running away from the sun, casting a long shadow now out there than is in it now. 205 for 6, and Van Buren is 86 not out. That's provided tremendous entertainment here in this little period we've had. 2¼ hours, a little delay for rain around 4 o'clock, but the grey clouds in the distance are all moving away from us, and it's beautiful blue skies above us now. Bergen again past umpire Burns, and Charlesworth is opening the blade on one to steer it out to third man for a single. Emilio Gay is down there with his shades on, no doubt, looking directly into the sun. Charlesworth goes to 72, 206 for 6.
Probably not easy for the batsmen as well, facing us at this pavilion end. It looks very bright with the sun in their eyes. That's why Rob Keogh was bowling in his shades. Quite often spinners do bowl in their shades, don't they? It's one of those things, one of those quirks. Changing the field here. Levy's coming across from the leg side. Will be popped into extra cover.
Yeah, Hutton's going to backward point. Levy's coming across and Keogh's going a bit closer at mid-on. So back to a 6-3 offside field now as Berg is in again, and Van Buren in front of the off stump is defending back up towards the bowl out for no run. And Lancashire bowl out for 170 at Grace Road, so a lead of 15 there on Leicestershire, and that game probably holds most hope of a result in this round, really. That's at the halfway point in the match. More advanced than any other fixture. Berg, in he goes again, and Van Buren calmly, composedly in his crease, punching away to Levy at extra cover. And there's no run to end the over. 206 for 6, the Gloucesters. Van Buren there on 86, Charlesworth 72, 6 overs left in the day's play.
Yes, and are we going to see a bit of Bob Hunt as well? Are we going to play musical chairs?
Want to come back to the last
perhaps
little period here, Bob?
there's an update that Alex Winter needs to do.
Yes, there should be a 5:30.
Oh, 5:30. Perhaps we'd wait for the
Into the
update. I
sport
think. Be professional here. I don't want to do your update for you. Do your dirty work. Keogh, here he is with the old shades on. In the blistering sunshine, the bright whites out. The silly point is in place here for the left-handed Charlesworth, breathing down his neck, eyeballing him. Keogh skips in and bowls, and Charlesworth comes forward and drives. They're going to steal a single here. He's hit it along the ground, straight towards mid-off, and that's good running. It's tip and run. Backed up well by Van Buren, and out of the blocks, PDQ. 207 for 6, and Charlesworth goes on to 73, just creeping up to his highest score of 77 not out. Very exciting for the young man from Teddy's. Orthodox slip. Silly point's been taken out for the right-handed Van Buren, who likes to blast the ball. Extra cover in place. Keogh bowls, and that's driven very sweetly out towards long on. They've persisted with that long on out there for Van Buren, and at the moment easy pickings for him as he saunters through for 208 for 6, and Van Buren on 87. Superstitious number for Australians, 87, isn't it? 13 short of 100. But Van Buren is definitely not Australian, so I'm sure he's quite calm out there. So Charlesworth facing now, and square leg's been brought in on the single, and long on has come in to save the single as well. Silly point back in place. I think that's Gay there under the helmet. As once more it comes around the wicket there. Keogh, ooh, there's a play and a miss there. Well, in fact, it's come off the pads, I think, and just thudded in front of Charlesworth. Getting a little bit more grip and turn in that rough, Keogh. He's enjoying bowling to the left-hander. As that point continues to stare. There's once more Keogh bowls and just trying to work that into the offside. He does that successfully, Charlesworth. Goes onto the back foot and just pushes it into the offside. Deep extra cover has to come in to field that, and they go through for an easy single. 209 for 6 now. Charlesworth on 274. Partnership of 142 runs. All these milestones coming up here for Gloucestershire. There's once more Keogh's coming over the wicket to Van Buren, who tries to pull that, and they stutter for the single, but they take it in the end comfortably, where it's fielded by fine leg. That's Gay down there, and in fact it's gone for leg byes, so extras ticks on to 18, and the total 210 for 6, as we continue this Rob Keogh over from the Ashley Down Road end. Mid-on, long on comes in, back into the ring, as Charlesworth is facing Keogh bowls. And that didn't get up much there, but there's going to be a run. It's worked into the offside by Charlesworth, just finding the gaps neatly. And he goes on to 75 now, just 2 away from his top score in first class cricket. 211 for 5, and that's another Keogh over that bites the dust. Remaining overs in the day, I think probably will be 5 when the scoreboard catches up with us. And Van Buren still on 87, Charlesworth on 75.
So we've had 30 overs since resumption at 3 o'clock, and Gloucestershire have added 131 runs, so they've come in a good lick. Runs between this pair, and have just pushed Gloucestershire out to a pretty unassailable position, really, with the time left in the game. They've been rolled over pretty quickly for 120. Northants may still have sensed the chance to end the season with another victory, but it's looking like 5 wins, as it was in 2013, going to be good enough for promotion for Northamptonshire. Here is Gareth Berg, once again right on round to Charlesworth, left-hander. He was pushing away out to short mid-wicket. Hutton is going across there to collect, and there is no run. Brilliant sunshine across Neville Road, and once again cursing the end of the season really when the weather's like this. Beautiful blue skies, enthusiastic little crowd in down beneath us as well. As Berg sets off once more, past umpire Burns he goes, and Charlesworth is driving from a length. It's a sign of a good wicket when he can push balls away like that. Good stride in, playing through the line. Out to Curran on the deep point fence to our right hand side. 212 for 6. Van Buren 87 resumes the strike. Charlesworth 76 to him now, so just 2 away from a career best. Could be an expensive day for Ben Charlesworth. He'll have to get his wallet out for the career best round.
Well, do you think he's got enough pocket money though? Might have to ring his dad, ring his mum and dad, have an advance. Hopefully they're in the ground.
Berg to Van Buren, and Van Buren struck on the pad. He must have hit it, because they all went up and they all went down very quickly indeed. It didn't seem to be too much wrong with it otherwise. Went back and across, looked to work a ball to leg. Berg thought he had a man, thought he had the breakthrough. 212 for 6 in the Bristol sunshine. Certainly Emilio Gale will be hoping that Northants can roll Gloucestershire over tomorrow, because he'd like a bat here on first class debut. Would have been gearing himself up last week when Rob Newton was injured and he was given the nod. Berg is in again, very full and driving is Van Buren. The ball bouncing over the bowler's head down to Proctor at mid-off. Coming to his right hand side, there's no run.
Well, Rossington's playing around with his bowlers, isn't he? And Berg has bowled from both ends. They're coming around, they're coming over the wickets, trying everything really just to break these 2 up. But there's not a sense of desperation, that's for sure, from Northants, partly because of the situation in the table and they know that they're pretty safe about going up. But there's now a mothers' meeting going on in the sunshine down there with Gareth Berg, and Rossington has run all the way from his wicket-keeping position to join in the chat. I think Bob Hunt wants to come on air. Bob, it's very cosy, you're sitting next to me. Would you like to come on air?
After the over.
After the over? Yeah, look at that. It's a bit pushy, isn't he? Yeah. Is it my turn to come off?
Well, normally the 2 host broadcasters survive in.
Oh, yes, okay. Protocol, Protocol.
I don't know.
Well, that's fine. We'll swap at the end of the over, for sure. Yeah, we want to hear from Bob Hunt. He's a laugh and a half.
Berg on his way again, very full and driven. Actually back past mid-off. I thought it was going to be cut off, but it's run away for runs. And just a single actually, good scramble from Proctor down towards our right hand side. Flicked away by Van Buren, and Keogh looked for all the world to be coming across to his left to cut it off. The ball squirmed away from his grasp and out towards the dugouts to our right hand side, but just the 1 run. Van Buren to 88, 213 for 6. How pleasant it would be for Van Buren to sign off with the first 100 of the campaign. Just 154 and before this in 9 matches. But he's played very nicely here. Charlesworth has 2. He's back on strike facing Berg, and he's playing a full ball down to mid-on, where Proctor does the fielding in his slip over. The dog down beneath us is wagging its tail again, and the over comes to an end. There's 3 more to come tonight here at Neville Road. 230.
Well, bye-bye, is he? I'm not going to the pitches with you tonight, I'm sorry. I'm playing badminton. Thanks for the offer, though. Hello, Alex.
Like a spot of batters, do we, Bob?
Pardon?
Like a spot of batters?
I do play badminton every Wednesday, yeah. I like
good.
badminton, yes. It's a good game. Keeps you fit, yeah.
much so.
I prefer tennis.
Very energetic game, badminton.
It is, well, I tend to play in the net, so I don't move around a bit much. But that's all right.
Doubles.
That's all doubles, yeah. I can't play. Well, I can play singles, but doubles, I like doubles. Anyway, there's a change of bowling, I think, from the Ashley Down Road end. It's going to be old Keogh. Keogh. No, he's not. He's walking away in a sulk.
He wants a bit of sawdust there,
that's
Rob
what he
Keogh.
wants. That's what he
But
wants.
yeah, it's going to continue.
Now, there's 4 overs to go. Van Buren's on 88. I'm sure the crowd here would love him to get 100. I'm sure they'd rise uproariously because he has batted extremely well. I mean, Charlesworth has been a very adequate, well, more than adequate foil for Van Buren, but I think Van Buren has caught the eye. I mean, Charlesworth has some lovely cover drives when he was at the 60s, 70s period of his innings, but I think Van Buren has batted extremely responsibly, maturely, and with an eye on the prize. And he's going to be our interviewee at the end of the game because he's done so well. Very polite young man as well, he is.
He is a very nice chap.
He's a nice chap, yeah. Now the mid-on is well out. The mid-off is in, and the mid-off is sort of halfway back. The mid-on there was a long one really at the boundary, and it's a very strong leg-side field as Keogh bowls to Van Buren, and Van Buren defends stoutly. Stoutly indeed. Now he's a professional cricketer. He's not too worried about if he gets 100 tonight or tomorrow. But the crowd here, I think, would love him to see him get a ton tonight because he's batted extremely well. But he plays every ball as it comes, as of course he should do. As Keogh bowls to Van Buren again, who's on 88 and cuts, and just a single sweep on the cover boundary fields. It's Mr. Young Curran. And the great throw comes in right over the stumps. He's been a superb throw of the ball as Curran from that cover boundary. So Van Buren on to 89, 214 for 6. There's been a couple of big LBW appeals from Keogh, but really these two haven't been troubled at all, have they, Alex Winter?
No.
I mean, the pitch has flattened out. Obviously, I tell you what, the shadow of the pavilion is almost at the crease at the moment, but I always think it looks a bit like Batman. The shadow of the pavilion here at Bristol. Can you see what I mean?
A little.
Yeah, well, sort of. Keogh bowls to Charlesworth again, and Charlesworth defends again rigidly, and picked up by Keogh. You can hear the happy buzz of chatter here because, I mean, the crowd have been here all day. We didn't see any cricket until 4 o'clock? 3 o'clock. As Keogh bowls to Charlesworth again, and Charlesworth again turns that towards mid-wicket. They think about a single, but it's turned back by Van Buren. So Van Buren has 3 overs to get his 11 runs. Now, I hope he gets him today because he's a very fine cricketer. And he's covered at number 8, which is a very low down. That's why they pat the sign with batting Gloucestershire in this particular game, as Keogh bowls to Charlesworth, and Charlesworth plays it into the covers, and there's no run. Nice shot though from Charlesworth. I think this is the last ball of the over, and Charlesworth will probably try and pinch the strike. He won't, of course he won't. He's well plays his ball as it comes and defended back, and that is the end of the over. It is. So 3 overs to go, 214 for 6. Van Buren on 89. Charlesworth, who has lagged behind a little bit, is on 76. But Van Buren overtook Charlesworth, and Van Buren started the afternoon session with 5. So he's got 84 runs today in this session. 214 for 6. And I think the game has now gone beyond. It's going to be a draw, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, indeed. The only chance was for Northamptonshire to go through Gloucestershire here and then bowl out themselves, I suppose, and then try and put Gloucestershire under a bit of pressure tomorrow.
I wouldn't mind overly much if there wasn't any play tomorrow. Well, I wouldn't mind a bit, but not much, because I see what I mean. If there was no play, it'd be a draw, wouldn't it? There'd be nothing to play for. Nothing to play for. Have a bit of worry about Durham though. We don't play at Durham either. I think the old wicketkeeper's hurt himself.
And that's Alex Wakely actually who's getting a bit of running repairs to his
ankle. Ankle bandage on his ankle he's got.
Ankle or his boot down there. Barry Goodry and the physio has come running on with his bobble hat on for some running repairs.
He's Dutch, isn't he?
He is Dutch, yeah.
We came up here with a little chat.
Close of play at Lords. They went off a bad light a while ago, but now close of play there. So Derbyshire 199 for 4 have made a good reply there to Middlesex's 260.
Labrador's going. Look, Labrador's going home. No. Yeah, going home. Lead. There's no need to wave to it, as you can't see you.
Still going at Grace Road. Still got 9 overs to try and get in there if the light holds. Leicestershire 1 without loss, trailing Lancs by 14.
Well, there's just 3 to go here, which is I think they'll get him in fact, as Van Buren is on 89.
Here is Berg bowling to him with a slip in place, and he whips it away through mid-wicket. That's running out towards the square boundary for 4.
Good shot.
Over pitch from Berg, and Van Buren turned his wrists across it and flicked one away towards the city of Bristol College to our right-hand side for a boundary. And he's into the 90s, 93 to the little right-hander, 218 for 6.
He is little. That is absolutely true, and he used it with his bowling. In fact, there's a stark contrast between Charlesworth, who must be over 6 foot, perhaps 6'2", and poor old Van Buren is about 3'8".
Berg sets off again. Has been a little inconsistent in this spell, but this is right back at the off stump on a much better length and brings the right-hander forward, playing out towards Proctor at mid-off, and there is no run. And again, like he did in the previous over here, Rossington is coming. Jogging down.
He's got a plan
To have a word with Gareth Berg, the bowler. There was a right old committee meeting, wasn't there, in the previous over between
Well, he's ignoring him. Oh no, he comes back.
Proctor and Keogh and Rossington and Berg. Again, they're having a little conversation.
Probably bowl short. Perhaps bowl short to him.
Deep square is back, long leg is back, third man and deep point all back as well. Just the one slip in place, then point extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, saving the single. The chap on the balcony across from us in the penthouse suite has got some company up there now as Berg sets off into Van Buren again, and he's forward playing out to extra cover for no run.
He's had company for some time, I think. He's wearing a tie, and he's just come in from work, I think, about 2 hours ago, but he's got 3 people up there alongside him, probably a little cheeky glass of wine. Why not? There's also people on the penthouse flats in the middle and below them as well. And there's someone just above the sight screen sitting. I mean, it's not too warm out on the balcony, so they've really got their French windows open and sort of half sitting and also on the right-hand side there's some people watching.
Berg is in again, length delivery outside the off stump, a slash and caught behind. Van Buren has gone. Oh, what a disappointing end for him. He played so well, but slashing at a ball ever so slightly wide of the off stump from Berg. Was it too close to play the stroke perhaps? But he's gone for 93 and he is denied a first century of the summer. Berg has made the breakthrough. A fine partnership, and Van Buren is getting a standing ovation as he begins to walk off.
He should do.
218 for 7.
He should do, because he was very instrumental in helping Charles. He's gone for 93. Did he play a little bit too rashly? Did he have his eye on the 100? Who knows what's in his mind, but it brings David Payne out to bat, but it's a tremendous round of applause. Listen to it. All the crowd standing up. Why shouldn't they?
They really enjoyed that innings, didn't they?
It was lovely innings.
As did we, to be honest.
Beautiful stuff. It was great batting.
Very, very fluent stuff from Graham Van Buren, but his second 50 of the summer can't become a first ton of the summer, sadly. So he's gone for 93, and Gloucestershire 218 for 7.
Well, what was the partnership worth? It was worth 151. That's tremendous partnership. Now David Payne came out number 9. Now he's a very adequate number 9. He's got 7 50s to his name, as he will tell you if you ask him. And and he is a perfectly competent number 9. I mean, he'll probably get 0 now, but he needs to hang around because they need to get, they probably need to get another batting bonus point to cement their place in Division 1. Gloucestershire in Division 1.
I know.
They're tremendous.
First time since 2005.
Yes, they haven't. I've never seen them in Division 1. Looking forward to going to, I hope they go play at Scarborough. That would be nice, wouldn't it? 4 days in Scarborough. That would be lovely.
Very pleasant indeed, Scarborough. You had the pleasure of Scarborough a few years ago for a 50 overs match.
Yes, I was there with old. Yeah, Gloucestershire won that, and Gloucestershire won at to get to the final at Lords. They beat Yorkshire at
Headingley. They did,
you betcha.
With the Klinger century.
Klinger century is fabulous. Finished it with a 6.
Yeah, he got a century in the quarterfinal as
he
well.
He did as well. I mean, he said he's going to listen, but it'd be about 6 o'clock in the morning, wouldn't it? So he must be keen. No, he said he's going to listen whenever he can. He told me.
He was in tremendous form during that 2015 summer.
Oh, lovely, yes.
So 2 slips go in. David Payne is the number 9 for the Gloucesters. Berg is running away from us, bowling a bumper first up, well directed. And Payne has to be sharp, the duck beneath. And Rossington takes it by his left shoulder.
I can never be sure why they bought a bumper with a new batsman. I thought you bought it at the stumps.
Push him back. Then the full one.
Yeah, okay.
The old 1-2, Bob.
Well, no, I'll wait and see. I think Payne is quite efficient as his batting.
Berg's on his way again. Past the stumps, another bumper here. Again, well directed. And again, Payne is sharp to get down beneath it. And the ball flies harmlessly through to Adam Rossington. As a flock of birds fly over the flats across from us, the over comes to an end. 2:18 for 7, 2 overs left in the day at Bristol. That got underway belatedly at 3 o'clock.
We've had entertainment, though, haven't we?
Very much so.
Yes.
Yeah, the scoring rate during that partnership was very lively indeed, above 4 and over.
Well, this is interesting because Charlesworth, who's 18, is palpably the senior batsman to David Payne, who's 28. But, however, Charlesworth is the main man. Now, he's probably hoping, in fact, that Payne will face some deliveries, but it is Charlesworth facing, who's on 76. 218 for 7, as more pads are discarded and helmets are worn, and they are surrounding Charlesworth with the spin of Keogh. There's a forward, it's a silly point, there's a forward short leg, and there's a slip, and there's a backward point. Cover, mid on, mid off, mid wicket, and sweep on the cover boundary, and that's it. Keogh bowls to Charlesworth, but Charlesworth would probably try and hit him over his head if he could. Keogh bowls to Charlesworth now, and that's again good runs for Charlesworth again to get a single. So Payne has to face, which is probably the plan of attack, because Payne is capable and he's a good night watchman as well. However, he's come in his normal position as number 9. Josh Shaw and Mr. Gabriel coming in at number 11, who's not had many runs at the bat here at this time with Gloucestershire. Payne taking his time, takes a guard, looks around, hitches up his trousers, bends down, twitches a little bit, twiddles his bat. Ready now as Keogh bowls to the right-handed Payne, who bowls left-handed and just plays it ever so pleasantly and softly, and no run is accrued. Payne bowls left-handed and bats right-handed, as so many cricketers do. Not many bowl and bat left-handed, as Keogh bowls to Payne again and goes back into his crease and just plays it softly again. I think David Payne has got to stay here because he's a good bat, and if they can get 250, which is their 31 runs short of that, that'll be another batting bonus point. As he bowls again lurches forward, plays it back defensively, gets everything behind the ball. So it looks like Charles will have to face the last over, unless Payne pushes one just. Well, there's an area just been square on the offside, but that's played defensively, and that is not the end of the over. I thought it was. There's another ball to come. It's been I'll tell you what, Alex Andy, I've enjoyed this afternoon.
It's been very nice to have some play.
Yeah,
very nice.
It's been very aggressive batting.
Yeah, entertaining stuff.
Yeah, lovely shots. Now Payne, they're going to give him the single, you see. This is what they're going to do, but Payne won't fall for this ultra. He won't fall for this ultra. He'll just defend. He knows what they expect. He's not going to get a single. Well, if he is, he's stupid. Because he can relax. And no. Oh, he does get a run, actually, fortuitously. Because it squeezed past a slip. And so David Payne has the strike. He gets a 1. And I don't think he liked that. But actually, I think old Charlesworth probably likes that, because now David Payne's got to face the last over. 220 for 7. Payne on 1. Charlesworth on 77 Sunset Strip.
Elsewhere, they're off for bad light at the Oval, not 77 for 1. Applying to Surrey's 402 for 6 declared, so probably the end of the day there. Here they're also taking a light meter reading. There's 1 over to go in the day, Mike Burns. And having been starved of action, we're going to lose an over at the end of the day for bad light. Yes, we are.
It's
Mike
fine.
Burns taking the players off.
It's fine. What's
and
wrong?
You can hear the incredulation of the spectators down beneath
it's
us who
ridiculous.
have been so patient throughout the day. But they rise to their feet now and begin to applaud a fine innings by Ben Charlesworth.
Well, they should do, actually. They
Future
should
star for Gloucestershire, perhaps, who's 77 not out and looked in very good order indeed, it must be said. But Payne walking off with him on one. A shame that Graham Van Buren couldn't take Gloucestershire to the close as well. He made 93 before being picked up by Gareth Berg, his second wicket of the innings. But finally we did get on here at Bristol this afternoon.
did.
It took a long while. We did get underway at 3 o'clock. And what cricket we've had has been most entertaining
It has
indeed, Bob Hunt.
It has been very entertaining. I'm glad they got on. I mean, we thought they were going to abandon play for the day at one stage, but they didn't. And Gloucestershire have moved on from, what was it, 80 for 6 to 220 for 7. And they're safe now. It's going to be a draw, whatever happens. If there's play tomorrow, there might be bits and pieces. The weather forecast changes by the minute. But please join us at 10:30 or 10:25 tomorrow morning with Alex Winter, Isabel Duncan and myself, Bob Hunt. We'll bring in the latest from the county ground at Bristol.
We will indeed, yes. Thanks for
Ever so
tuning in.
exciting.
And for listeners on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra, we will return you to Kevin Helms.